Hey YouTubers, your girl Survivor here. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the light. It's time to get things started. Why don't I get things started? Got the Tracy show tonight. Hmm, just kidding. But I like the Muppets, so I'm a big fan. So anyway, last night, unfortunately, we had a good person came on. That was a surprise guest too. That was UF. I'm sorry, Tommy Highway has his own channel, which I have dropped a link for, and I will drop again. And he also co-hosts. He's been around. He's a pretty professional YouTuber. Um, and he also does another show, co-host with U.F.O Man, and it's really good. Every Saturday night they do live, and they're good lives too because they really keep your attention and everything. So if you're ever looking for something to do on a Saturday night, nowadays it seems that's what some of us do. We look for a good live stream to watch because you can't go out much. And, I don't know, things are different. We all know that. I don't need to tell anybody, right? So, yeah, I was doing, me, I do some research and just so I can talk for a little while in you know, the downtime before people actually come here, if they even do. I usually give it a little while, and then if nobody joins in, I end up just saying bye-bye. So, I'm going to tell you what I was looking at. I was looking at where in Cleveland, Ohio, in 1986, they wanted to break a record of the balloons that were released into the air, balloon release, the biggest balloon release, and they wanted to beat Disney World's 1985. So, ironically, the same guy, his name is Treb Heining, he owns the companies that, make these particular balloons. Like, he started working at Disney World when he was young, selling balloons with Mickey Mouse on them. And then he also invented the Mickey Mouse inside the balloon. And then he invented the Mickey Mouse inside the balloon that lights up. I mean, he's got some cash. Um, so there's, that's, anywho. So they want to release, now the original idea for it was 2 million balloons they were going to release. And this happened in Cleveland, Ohio. And the United Way is what was going to be sponsoring this event. So it took like 6 months worth of planning, and they had 2,500 volunteers, mostly students. So on September 27th, 1986, they decide that they're gonna release these balloons, and they've got this whole big event going on. Each balloon was $1. Of course, went to the United Way. It cost. Now, this is what I need to clarify. I ended up on the phone. Hey, Grandma, how are you? I hope you're doing well today. They had to clear with the city all kinds of permits and everything. So I don't know if it was just like a mistake of the person who was telling the story when they said the city had to pay $500,000 for the event, or the United Way paid $500,000 for the event, because then they kind of went on. Now you figure, I guess it would make sense if it cost them $500,000, but they were going to make back 2 million when they were. That's awful. I tell everybody, do not get the flu vaccine or any vaccine. I will say that I do think some of the vaccines that they came up with, I don't know if it was the vaccines or if it was the start of washing their hands. Hey, Terry, um, I'll drop the link. Yeah, I know. I do not think that secular human is. I think that you're blocked from when. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Did you see the one that that I put on one of your videos? The one that you posted yesterday, I think. Yes, I will drop the link. Grandma, now, what do you mean you got the Pfizer vaccine? Is there differences in vaccines? I didn't know there was different companies that were doing different vaccines. Give me 1 second. I'm doing it, Terry. Doing it. It's not doing it. Okay. Oh, wait. Maybe. There we go. It does. It has different brands? Huh. Well, that's different. That's strange, huh? Now, but is there no difference? Like, is there no difference, though, in the breakdown of it? You know, the ingredients, what's in it, the side effects? What's the difference? I mean, because you would think that one pharmaceutical company would come up with the cure for something and then copyright it, that it wouldn't be something that somebody else invented, and then all of those different pharmaceutical companies, they are all different. Really? I did not know that. Now, what about Merrick? Isn't that a pharmaceutical company? Do they have one too, don't they? Or are they merged with Pfizer? That's so interesting to me. So each company came up with its own different vaccine? Terry, did the link work? You know what? I'm writing that down. I'm going to write that down, Grandma, because that interests me. And I want to be able to research that. I want to know, like, what is the difference there? Did you know
Hey,
that, Terry?
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hello, everybody on chat. Hope you're doing good.
Did you know that, Terry? That there's different each company, like there's different companies that develop the vaccine for COVID.
But there's different companies.
Yeah, she said that there's like, Grandma said she got her vaccine today,
Okay.
and that of course, it's given shitty symptoms like all those vaccines, pretty much. She says hi, secular.
Hey, honey, how you doing? Hope you're
It's
feeling better.
funny. I think maybe like, is this the same one that used to be Grandma WAP and like, started off as like this uh,
Wow.
troll channel, but we were all like, hi,
Is
liking her,
WAP?
huh?
WAP is in WAP.
Yeah, WAP.
Oh, okay. I don't know, but I heard one of the symptoms are soreness. There's some pretty intense soreness the next day on the arm, wherever you get it poked.
Right. Yeah.
Have you had yours yet, Survivor? Trey?
Oh, someone cloned you? And no, I'm not getting that code. Oh, no. I will
Somebody
not.
cloned who?
She said somebody cloned her grandma and was making fun of her. Really? I wondered why somebody was saying Grandma WAP. I thought they were talking about, and I'm not being mean or anything. Please don't think I'm being mean. I thought they were talking about Ollie. Not that I think her, she's a grandma wop. I was just saying, like, it
Right.
seemed like for a while.
But people get vicious on here, man.
Oh my God, I know. Like I told you about how I'd be in chat rooms and not know that there was a clone of me in there until somebody pinned up I'm pleasing myself right now.
Well, you know what?
On the
When
screen.
I was a mod on one live, I was deleting that SG's car because I know you're sensitive to that. It takes a
Well, of
lot.
course. It said one time, and this is the thing, I laughed like to myself one comment that it said, my pussy, whatever, smells like tuna. And then it says, thank God I'm a convertible.
Really? What live was that on?
Miss Passions.
Yeah,
Uh, uh,
her lives used to be loaded with trolls.
Loaded. Because
Yeah.
I felt like her mother, Nom Nom, was kind of one himself. And you
Yeah.
know what they would do is they would delete me. They'd block me.
Yeah.
You know? I know, Grandma, right? You see your face when I said that?
Yeah, there's a
Right?
couple of that are really mean to me that go onto my videos. I don't delete them or anything, but they leave really mean. There's one uh, Campus Mentos that's really mean to me, and
Oh, that one is always mean to me.
yeah, and then there's Zarina Alex used to give me warnings and stuff.
I don't do that. Yeah, that compost Mentos. Oh, Tiffany just texted me, said she's almost ready to come in.
Right on. Come on, Tiffany. Come on, Tiff Tiff.
I know, right? Yeah, the compost Mentos is, see, I don't think it's Ollie. I think it's the V guy myself.
Oh, really? You think that's him? Really?
Absolutely.
Well, he.
Absolutely. And I don't know why other people don't think that themselves because he says it a lot. He
Yeah.
says that he's got over 100 accounts and that he has infiltrated, now you have to understand, for the last 3 years, you guys just met him recently,
Yeah.
but for the
Okay.
last 3 years, he's been, oh, she says it anyway. You're funny, Grandma. Uh, he's been, going to all these live streams that I go to, and I didn't know it because I wouldn't see it. So
Mhm.
when there was a survivor clone in these these live streams, I should say, harassing the people, I couldn't understand it when I'd get into a room that I'd always go to and I'd be blocked or something. You know?
Yeah. So somebody. Oh, that was nasty. That was mean.
What wasn't it? I'm telling you, Vernon was doing that to me for the last 3 years.
Well, he thought he was infiltrated by spies and stuff for whatever
Wait,
reason.
he thinks what he's done, what he's been doing.
Yeah.
You have to understand. See, you liked that guy that was on the live stream last night, right?
What's that?
Tommy. He was a good, like interesting topic.
On the
Tommy Highway that came on. He was talking
okay.
about Roswell,
Right. Right. Yeah, it was actually.
right? And they got a on Saturday nights. He's been doing. I think he must have just started another channel again or something because he used to have a lot of subscribers. The one that he's on with Tim called U.F.O Man,
Right.
on every Saturday night they do a live stream. Now that one's got about 34,000 subscribers. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, he.
Yeah. It was actually. I subscribed to it last night. I subscribed to the UFO one.
Yeah, and subscribe to the Tommy Highway one too, because
Okay.
I really remember him having more subscribers. So something must happen. So he gets if the V guy had left all of his live streams up over the past 3 years, you would see like Tommy is also somebody that was getting harassed, and so was UFO Man. Um, all of them. When you'll hear him mention Tim, like recently, he was mentioning that he thought all of his electric devices was, you know, spywares and stuff. Remember, he said that,
Right. Yes.
right? And he was like, and somebody gives you a computer, and it's got and Alex gives you this, and Jax put this up there, and Tim did this. UFO Man is Tim, you know, and Vern used to have some friends, and he's progressively gone from, you know, tolerable
Right.
to completely now, I feel, is a delusion.
Right.
Yeah, you know, completely. And Tim is a wicked nice guy. Really nice guy.
Yeah, he was very articulate. I'm a skeptic. I had to question him a little bit, but yeah, it's. I'll look at the.
Well, they both are. Both of the hosts on the UFO Man and those live streams,
Mhm.
very nice. Very nice live streams, too, because the live streams, the people are there to watch what they're talking about. Even if you didn't go there to watch it, you get interested. They're very interesting. And like he was saying, about we were both saying about that cow video they had one night, where you've heard about the cows getting, you know, like their organs removed and there's no blood when they find the cows.
Yeah, I think you talked about that last night.
But have you heard of that? You must have heard
No,
of that.
no, I haven't.
Never?
Never. I have not heard of that.
In all your years, you never heard of that.
Nope.
Wow, because it's been going on for a while, like for years, where it would be even before they started using laser technology for operations and everything. That would be what the whatever, you know, mostly cows. It was mostly cows that they would find in these, you know, farms. Like it would be, they'd be taken from the farm and then dropped back down after they took what they wanted out of it, like autopsies or something, and drained of all blood and no blood around it. And so the video they were showing was this cow in a barn, and all of a sudden you start seeing like wind. The cow's in the barn,
Right.
yeah, and there was a couple of other animals too, but the wind is like a vacuum almost. You can see now. You would think it's a good possibility that somebody filmed a tornado. Is it Twister?
Mhm.
Right?
Right.
So somebody could have been filming a Twister going over their barn and then hoaxed it. They're not showing their own videos. Like Tommy and UFO, they're not showing. They're showing other videos to talk about the topic.
Right.
I really think that Art Bell one will be a good one. Do you know who he is?
I've heard of him. He was talking about him last night, but
Yeah, he actually, Art Bell, which I just recently started to listen to, used to do a radio show called Coast to Coast. And
maybe those UFOs. Maybe if there was one that landed, it was maybe it was something that went into a black hole and went forward in time and came back out, or maybe it's just something that one of the world governments released out into space and it just came back.
yeah, well, they were saying like, because right before I came live, I like to look at stuff that maybe I'm not quite well versed in, so that I can try to figure out, you know,
Right.
some of it, you know. So I was looking at the Roswell landing there, and just not as fast as I'd like to, because you know what? Then I ended up going on to this balloon release, which I'll finish that story. But anyway, so the Roswell one, they were saying the first guy. So recently, the History Channel did a show called The First Witness. It's a diary accounting from this guy. After he died, his children decided to put it out there, and it was called a balloon crash. Then they said that it happened. Okay, keep in mind the deathbed confessions. These are my notes. I'm just reading you my notes. And these are things like I like I'll take notes about something and then almost like remember they used to teach it in school, an outline?
Right.
Yep, I'll take notes and then I want to research this. I want to research that. I want to research this. So it turns into this big project for me, filling up notebooks and stuff. And when I was
forgot
doing
about
all,
outlines. It's funny you
huh?
mentioned that. I forgot about outlines.
About what?
Outlines.
Oh, outlines. Yeah. I mean, at one point I was doing research 8 hours a day, like a job,
Mm-hmm.
because I was serious about the content I was making. This was, maybe a year ago or whatever,
Right.
or more. And then, I don't know. The funny thing is when you read things and then they're disturbing, right? But the people got away with it and that there's not much you can do about it, because while you're trying to get the message out there, people
Mm-hmm.
kind of just, they like what they like. And if they have the mindset that they're just one person or something, then we're all just one person.
Speaking of research, now you can do it online. You can get back issues of newspapers going back to the 1800s or whatever. But going to microfilm rooms and libraries, and you can
Oh yeah, the microfiche.
microfilms and look at newspaper articles from like the 1920s and the 1930s, and it's interesting.
And it sucks now the libraries are closed.
Yeah, I've always been I can't say a voracious reader, but an avid reader.
You could tell you read. You could tell when somebody reads
Really?
because, their way they speak and everything. I think it perfects things, like not maybe perfect, but you know what I mean? Gives people the proper use of the English language,
Yeah, and it just it exercise. You get pleasure reading. You're exercising your mind. You're making
Exactly.
yourself
Yeah.
smarter. You're making yourself sound smart at a party. It's interesting.
Well, and I'm the type of person that if a word is there and I don't understand it, I
Right.
will look it up
Yeah.
and
Me too. Me
want
too.
to learn that new word
Yeah.
and try to remember it. And memory exercises are good to do
Right.
as well, kind of like,
Right.
yeah, keeping
Well, I
your
get
mind sharp.
newspapers and magazine articles on a semi-regular basis, but every now I'll get like interested in a subject like religion or after 9/11, the Middle East, the history, contemporary history, whatever,
Yeah.
different subjects, ethnic secession and organized crime, race issues, stuff like that. Uh, I've read all the Harlem Renaissance writers. I've read or all the most of the beat writers, Ginsberg, Burroughs. I've read them. I've read a lot of the classics.
Did you read the book Prudently wrote?
No, what did she write?
She said, "Hi, secular." That's the name of it. She's
I
here. See, say hi, Prudently.
Hi, Prudently.
Oh, hello. How
Oh,
are
hello.
you?
How are you?
I am good. I am good. I'm sorry I'm late.
Yeah,
I'm glad to meet you.
Late
I'm glad to meet
dinner.
both of you.
I'm in the middle of two women right now. I like it.
Your
Oh, you
favorite
like
place
We're
that?
to
having a
be.
three-way up here. I like that. So what's the name?
Oh,
Of I said the name of your book. What is it again?
I was kidding.
Book. I know. I'm like, did I write a book and I didn't get?
Yeah, she wrote The Joy of Sex.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Please.
Nice.
Between married couples, and there was only like 6 positions instead of like 100. I'm only kidding.
That's me.
No, I was thinking in my car, not the shower, but I was thinking about
Me or Secular?
yeah,
Me?
yeah, and I was thinking, look at prudently, that little randy woman, right? Because you had said about your
I'm scared.
advice for a good marriage and to keep it spicy. And you're like, well, it's the sex. And I'm like, woo-hoo. Yeah, Prudent, you got going on.
Yeah.
I got it going on. Yep.
Yeah.
After all these years, you got to do something.
So you guys still get in the shower together and stuff?
Really?
Who, me and Prudently?
All the time with her, yeah.
Yeah, she puts baby oil on my head.
No, I'm talking about her and her other half. You're projecting.
Uh-oh, she's projecting.
I thought you were having some fantasy or something. Secular. Me and Prudently don't have to fantasize anymore.
Oh gosh, I know fantasies, huh? I'm not
I
sure
came
if I
out,
have
I
any
was
more
like, I
left.
don't know why you had to use the whole bottle of oil. I can't see for a week. You have to drive me all around. I can't even open a bottle or nothing. My hands are so slippery.
I think Survivor has been smoking some good stuff. What do you think?
I'm just picturing it.
I wonder. You still got your convertible, Survivor Girl?
Well, I got it. I smell like tuna.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Oh yeah. You got to tell the backstory to that one, okay? Or the poor guy.
I did earlier. Okay. I was in that live because he said,
was going to say,
"Oh, well, I used to see SG's car," and I was like,
that was a terrible thing to say. It was funny, but
it was funny.
It was good that you were able to laugh about it, and keep a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you.
It was pinned on the fucking screen. I wasn't too happy about it.
I know. If they had been in front of me, I would have punched them.
How I
they
feel
wouldn't have seen it coming.
Feel that way a lot. Okay, I'm missing something here.
Oh, well. How's
today?
It
was a good day.
Me?
Yeah.
What did I do? Let's see. Let's see. What did I do? Not much. Cases. I worked on cases. That was it.
Oh, you're working on cases?
Yes. So I was doing that. That's about it. I had to get some of those done. And it takes time to write all that up and stuff. So.
Yeah, we had you missed a little bit of a good stream there last night. So my phone fucking went dead.
Your phone went dead.
Yeah, I was wondering about you. I was asking about where.
Oh, you were so sweet. I was telling Prudently today. Yeah. I was saying how sweet you were.
I know. She did say that. She said, boy, that's succulent. He even said peace, love, and tacos at the end.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I said there he was giving my little tagline for me and everything.
Yeah, he was keeping it going.
Yeah, that was nice of you.
Yeah.
So today, did you see my video about the gifts that they gave me at Chemo?
No, I didn't. I have just been.
I got to get caught up. I got to get caught up on your videos. I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, she gave me one of those boob grow. Right? It's like these fake boobs and you put them in water and they expand 6 times their size. It says you don't need a plastic surgeon anymore. And she gave me edible nipple tassels.
Oh my. Edible nipple tassels.
Yeah, remember when the go-go dancers, strippers would wear the pasties?
Listen to Segula. Yup, I know.
He was right there. He was like sitting there, and they were swinging him, and they were hitting him in his head. The tassels, I mean.
Yeah, right. The tassels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, edible ones.
I must have missed that phase of life or something. So,
Well, I've got edible ones.
oh boy, those will come in handy in the shower.
Right in the shower.
Little suction, little baby oil in the back of those suckers, and they'll stick like glue.
Better hurry up, though, and melt. So what? She goes, yeah. She goes, it was so funny because I showed one of the other nurses, and she goes, oh my God, those are so pretty. And she said, "Are pretty?" And she goes, "Aren't they earrings? Aren't they earrings?"
Oh my!
I'm gonna wear nipple covers on my ears.
Well, you're taking it all in stride. That's for sure.
Well, the funny thing, the reason why is because the plastic surgeon is really a handsome guy. He's married and everything, but real handsome.
Yep.
And so I said, one day, this was a few months ago, me and Kelly, who is, sometimes if they're too busy, you won't get the same one, but she's pretty much basically been the one. And
nurse.
Yeah. And so she's, my infusion nurse, and you spend a lot of time with them and everything, you know? Yeah.
Right.
Especially, I've been going for since
10 weeks.
October.
Yeah. It's been a while.
So like 6 months.
Yeah. It's a long time to get to know somebody.
Yeah, it is. I was crying today because it's like you're bittersweet.
Yeah, right. It's like you have a bond with them. You don't really want to see them anymore, but you've really probably grown to really like them.
Yeah. And so I said to her one day, I said, I go, I was telling her the story about I was going into first the anesthesiologist, how, she was like, do you smoke pot on a regular basis? When I was getting the port put in?
Yeah.
I don't even know why she asked me that.
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Just being nosy.
Well, it sounds it. I mean, maybe she was wondering because if she put you under anesthesia, it wouldn't be good if you had just smoked a blunt and walked in.
Of course I just smoked
to get put under.
What about all the other drugs? What about all the other drugs? Well, no, not weed, but I do heroin daily.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would she just say weed? Like, that was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, what, did I come in reeking of weed?
Did you?
You guys ever had morphine before?
Yes, I have.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was pregnant.
I got burned. I had gotten burned on my leg.
Yeah. Oh, ouch.
Yeah. You know how your mother always tells you turn the panhandle in?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, listen to that. That is true.
I always do. I always still, even though I don't have any little kids around, I still turn that panhandle in.
And that's what it was. There was a little kid around, and I noticed the panhandle was out, and I was on the phone, and it was back when the phones were attached to the walls, you know? So on the kitchen phone, I saw him going that way. So I dropped the phone, ran over and luckily he wasn't close enough that it got him. Because I ended up wanting to turn the panhandle in, but knocking it instead.
Oh, wow.
And dumped all over me.
Grease.
Ew.
Bless you.
It like dumped all over me, and it was right when you bring the water and the butter to a boil. And then you take it off the burner, so it was boiling up.
Oh, wow.
And I had jeans on, so I was over somebody else's house. I didn't want to just whip my pants off,
wow.
So I had to run to the bathroom, and Pam was calling the hospital to see if you should bring somebody down to the emergency room, at what point. It had just happened.
Yeah.
I was in the bathroom removing my pants, and is the screen moving for the chat? room, is it moving or is Grandma still the last? Oh,
All I can see is Grandma.
that's so weird, huh?
We got
But
5 people watching, but you're going to get a lot of views. People are going to come back and watch it. Your viewers are going to check it out.
Yeah.
yeah, I hope
Tiffany said
so.
she'd be on too, right? So she'll be coming on.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
Tiff,
might
yeah,
later, right?
yeah, yeah.
Isn't she's dealing with her own little deal over on her channel presently.
Oh,
Her
she
last
is. She's on
video.
a live stream.
No, it was just her last video. She had quite a few comments on, I noticed, and
Was it about them like accusing her of being a clone and not really being concerned for somebody in another live stream?
I don't even know what, to be honest, I can't keep up with it. I don't like recognize what it's about. I just know
Yeah,
it's, I don't know. I
yeah.
really don't know half of the
It's
stories,
like, you know,
but
they
it
think she's
seemed to
a victim
be,
of it. I mean, not the victim. They think
well,
she's the
yeah, they think she can be in so many places at one
at
time.
one time.
I
You know
don't
what I'm
know.
saying? It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I don't know. It was between her. It was something with to do with Ollie, and
Uh,
Yeah, I
too
think those two
bad.
have been
'Cause,
beefing for a long time.
mm,
huh?
I think those two have been at war for a long time, I guess.
yeah,
A cat,
yeah,
they've been having a protracted cat fight.
yeah. Sounds like it, huh? But I know.
I almost think like that. You know, Tiffany is not the one who's the perpetrator. I think like, but
Mm,
because of the fact that when she took everything down,
hmm.
they just wouldn't stop.
They
They were like
stuck. Yeah,
still reaching back to 2006 and 2014, and
I know. It was like, are you
yeah,
that desperate to find stuff on somebody? I don't
right.
get
So
that
then at
kind of
that point, to
mentality.
her, it was like, well, then why should she
Well,
bother? You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, I saw her reach out to people, and like
Yeah,
even a certain person who's
yeah.
kind. I was like so
Mm,
impressed with that when she said, impressed with them as a person.
hmm.
That when Tiffany had made a particular video and was like, and oh my God, to this person, she gave a shout out to. She said, extra special
Hmm.
thanks. I know that you're a very good person, and she's always said nothing but nice things about her too.
Hmm.
You
Yep.
know, this particular woman that I really like. I still like her. You
Hmm.
know, um, and then when she said, I'm really sorry about every, Tiffany did. She said, I'm really sorry
Hmm.
about everything that happened in the past, but I'm on a road to forgiveness and accountability, even my own accountability.
Yep.
So let's start fresh. Hi, my name is Tiffany. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
I
Yep.
thought, I don't know if you saw that, but
I
it was on the,
did. I saw
yep.
it. Yep. I thought,
I
wow.
truly, in my heart, thought there's no way that person, my friend, was not going to respond
Yeah,
positive
I know,
to that.
because it seemed to be a very genuine,
Sure did.
kind of extension,
Yeah,
hand
olive
out to.
branch, like extending an
Yeah,
olive branch. Yep,
exactly. That's it. Yep.
yep. And when she didn't,
Yeah, I was pretty surprised.
I felt like my stomach in my throat. You know what I mean? Like my heart in my
Yeah.
throat. Like it kind of hurt.
Hmm.
Like I
It
hurt
did
for the
for
rudeness
her.
of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I really felt terrible for Tiffany. I really did.
yes, I did too.
I mean, anytime anybody's feelings gets hurt like that, when you've
Well, she
made
didn't
this
say her feelings
attempt.
were hurt, but I thought it would
Well,
have hurt mine.
it would have hurt mine too.
Yep,
I would have felt slighted.
yep.
When
So
you're
I felt
trying.
like it did, and then things got, that person like joined in,
Hmm.
even, wholeheartedly where they hadn't been before.
Right.
And so
Yeah, it
I
was
never could
odd.
quite wrap my head around the whole how is it bad for people to make up and forgive
Hmm.
and move on?
Yeah, it's very hard
Yeah.
for some people. I think they just love, and it's not the drama, because you can get drama in a lot of places, but it's almost like some kind of psychological thriller for these people. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
So that makes it is the drama,
when I listen, I'm not.
because it's psychologically thrilling.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have I have listened to a couple of live streams, not for long, But there's one particular one, and I'm not going to say them out loud or anything, but you know who
Right
I'm
in the
talking
private,
about.
write it in the private chat. You got my word. I'm
Uh,
not going to go and blab anything.
Where's the private chat?
We can go on it.
I
Anybody
can.
on the panel can see it.
Anybody on the panel can see it, but
No,
nobody can.
nobody, he said.
Anybody on the panel can see it.
How do
Oh,
you
on
do
the
that?
panel. Oh, on
How
the
do you do?
panel.
Yeah, because I don't want to put
Yeah, but
anybody's
I bet I'll know
name.
what live stream it is when you explain it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, let me explain and it'll probably pop into your head. But the
Well,
person,
one thing, excuse me,
what?
real quick. Okay.
Yep.
Never mind. Okay, go ahead.
You know what? I'll give you a hint. They're not in this country. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. I got
That
it.
help you out?
Yep.
Anyways, the one thing that struck me as very odd is hearing pages flip, like from a notebook. Like they're
I do that.
actually, come on.
I got pages right here. Listen.
Yeah, but I'm talking about pages of people's, you know, what
Drama.
person would
Drama. Not
consider,
research. Drama.
yeah, not research. This was just
Got it.
statements they made about this one or that one, or
Back
when
in
they. I thought to
2014,
myself,
2013. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that is crazy.
how the HELL does anybody have the time
Yeah.
to
You're right.
log that kind of BS?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, there's got to be a piece
Well, that's
missing.
somebody that's planning on continuous harassment of
Well,
somebody.
yeah, that's what I think too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Stockpiling this
because
shit.
they're just keeping a logbook of everything.
Yep.
They're the
Continuous
captain of the
harassment.
ship.
You know damn well that person never has any intention of forgiving and forgetting. Because they're writing shit down so they don't forget. Yeah.
Right,
You're right.
exactly.
You're absolutely right.
I
to
used to be a
me,
really big grudge holder.
yeah.
Yeah. Not as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not as bad, Terry. We're talking.
Yeah.
Are you French, Terry?
No, I'm not.
Oh, the French are known for that.
Oh, is that right?
They
English, German, what?
Yeah, I think probably English, German.
Yeah.
German Jew. I highly suspect that there was a wave of German Jews back in between the 1840s and 1860s, and I think my great or great great grandfather, those particular Jews, for whatever the reason or reasons, became secular, and they negated their Jewish identity in large numbers. And I
Yeah.
remember my grandfather on my dad's side used to go on rants about women and blacks and Jews. He might have been ignorant of his heritage. He might not have realized.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I'm very inquisitive. I like to learn. I'm wondering because my last name is Hoffner, Hoffner.
Yeah.
There are Jews with that last name.
Right.
So,
yeah, I find it to be, though, a cross between Jewish or German. But definitely English, too. I think you look a little bit English.
yeah, the nose. I got Hill, Hill as my mother's maiden.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. That's
Yes,
English.
that's the thing about Americans. A lot of us, well, maybe you do, Tracy, more so currently. You might, but a lot of us don't have really cultural identity. Well, I guess American. There's some things maybe that are uniquely American. What is that? We're mixed, I guess. But I don't really. We don't have. A lot of us don't have a cultural identity. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree.
They tear everything down.
They do. I mean,
Yeah.
my mother was 100% Italian, and my dad was 100% French. And
well, at least they're both Latin. They're both from the Romance language family.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because my father, we've got his lineage traced to, it was 1628, and that was in France.
Wow.
And my mother, we have her father's tree to the mid, or I think it was early 1800s, like 1820, in southern Italy. So that's kind of nice, to know a little bit about where you're from. But it's kind of funny because now I think our kids are losing a lot of that because my husband's Greek and he's Irish. So our kids are like a quarter of this, a quarter of that, So how do you bring so many traditions and such into their life, and it's very hard. I mean, predominantly everything in our family was Italian because my mother was the matriarch, you know, and just she ran everything.
Right.
And holidays were always Italian, you know. So I think they've gotten more of that than anything else, you know. But
Right.
if you don't pass it down and pass some of those traditions down, they're never going to know. So I
I
think,
find it weird how a lot of people feel like, even though Jewish is a religion, how people feel the need, Jewish people actually, because I don't practice it,
mhm,
but it's like, people say, what, nationality are you? I'll say English and Russian Jew.
mhm.
Like you just say it. It's like it pops out of your mouth.
Well, there
Yeah.
was well, you could say you're a part of a tribe, right? In the sense you're a
Like,
Semitic, you're part of the Hebrew. I don't know how to articulate it. It's sort of, it's
well,
not
the
just,
funny thing is like my doctor, my oncologist, he was going by my last name of, what my last name is,
Mhm.
and to say, "Oh, are you Jewish?" And I wonder if the chat is shut off, like the thing, like that's so weird. But
A-
anyway, you
Ask
know,
Grandma if she's still here. Grandma,
Grandma,
you
are you
still here?
still there? Can you type, or can anybody type in the chat? Because that's strange. Normally people say something. But yeah. Uh, he said, "Oh, well, I noticed your last name, and I think that you should be tested for, the gene that causes breast cancer. It
Hmm.
runs through Jewish women."
well, there are, cultural Jews too. I
Yeah,
mean,
Ashkenazi. That's what he said. The Ashkenazi Jews, which I think they were more like nomads, right?
yeah, the Sephardi, the Ashkenazi were, I think the German Jews. The Sephardic,
Mm.
Sephardim were like the North African, Moroccan Jews.
Interesting.
I do believe.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's a
There's
lot
something.
of, good, but I find that a lot of the good history that I get, like as here speaking and talking about the different tribes and this and that, it all kind of goes back to the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can find a lot of it there.
A lot of history in the
Yeah.
Bible.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It is the Jewish history, you know.
Oh, there you go. So the
It's
chat is working. So, hey,
it's
that's okay to have
working. Terry and I
six
said
people
hello to
who like
each
to listen
other.
to what we're saying, right?
Huh?
I said, well, that's all right to have six people who like to listen to what we're saying,
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
right?
We're so interesting, aren't we?
I think so. I think it was interesting what I was reading about that balloon release. Okay, and I didn't finish.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sorry. You did get
no, 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 I didn't
interrupted.
finish. I started it a long time ago when I was,
Oh,
uh,
okay. I thought I
you know,
interrupted you.
when I was, looking at some shit. Saw that in 1986, Cleveland, Ohio, decided,
Hmm.
they want to try to break this record. It was actually the United Way that sponsored it, but it was done by a company that I'll get to this guy. Okay, it was done
Hmm.
by like a privately owned company. So now, at the cost of $500,000,
Uh-huh.
it was 2 million balloons that they wanted to release at a
Oh.
dollar a piece. So, okay, you've got quite the profit there. I could see that happening, right? So that sounds all good.
Hmm.
But the thing was, they released them, and they ended up releasing only 1.5 million instead of the 2 million
Hmm.
because they got a weather report saying that there was bad weather coming in. So they
Okay.
decide to, first of all, they get this, they make the time sooner. So here you got all these people who bought balloons and maybe want to be there at a certain time, but then
Hmm.
oh nope, they've been released, which I'm certain they knew for a fact themselves because when they released 1.5 million balloons all at the same time,
Yeah.
they thought they were going to just, float into the air and they were biodegradable and whatever. But because of the weather and a cold front came with rain, it
Uh-huh.
forced them back to the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, it clogged up. They clogged up the streets. They clogged up
Oh.
waterways. They caused accidents all over the highway because they
Ugh.
were,
Wow.
balloons everywhere. They
Yeah.
needed, so, like emergency responders couldn't get in for the pollution because they are biodegradable, but they don't dissolve right away.
Yeah.
And they
Wow.
landed all in, on the Canadian side of the, oh my God, what the heck? I lost my notes. Well, I'm flipping through notes. Listen. They lost. I'm screwed up. You know what? Now I know why I shouldn't use my random freaking pages because I can't find them. Oh, here we go.
Uh-huh.
On the Canadian side of Lake Erie, some woman, her expensive Arabian horse got spooked and broke its leg.
Ooh.
They landed at Burkefront Airport runways, and the airport had to shut down.
Wow.
Two missing men, Raymond Broderick and Bernard Salter, went missing on Edgewater Park on their 16-foot boat, and the Coast Guard couldn't like search and rescue because the balloons looked like people, and they didn't know what they were looking at. It was covered in
Kidding.
balloons.
Those balloons are so dangerous. I've heard about them like getting caught in actual like an airplane in the engines
Yeah,
and causing
yeah.
airplane, like really problems with aircraft and stuff. That's
That's why they
why,
shut the airport down.
yeah,
Yeah, isn't
I
that
don't think they
crazy?
should release balloons. It's like so bad for the environment.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's pretty, but it's not really a good idea,
I think it's bad too. I
Yeah.
really do. Yeah. I've been doing all kinds of freaking research. Sickening.
Oh, busy girl.
I know, but it's like I can't write down everything. I wish I could just
maybe you could
play
ask
the
someone for some tips.
huh?
Maybe you could ask somebody for a certain someone for tips.
I need oh, I know, right?
How can I log this all efficiently?
That's the thing. Like, I do think people actually do tune into those drama channels.
Yeah, they do.
Because we've got 4 here, but if we were talking about people right now,
Well,
I'd have.
let's go.
Huh?
We're so busy. Who can we ask that?
Well, the thing is this: is there a lot of people are not saying anything. They're just there to record and screenshot.
Mm-hmm. I find I am just fascinated by the type of person that can record these things and screenshot things. I mean, really?
Well, I screenshot shit because.
Do you? I mean, all right.
Well, no, but not.
I guess if they were talking about me or something,
I'll get over it.
I mean, I can't imagine going into all these lives and screenshotting things and actually recording the conversations.
No, I did record one person,
I just don't get
because
it.
they were threatening to kill me.
Well, that's different. But I mean, for
I
the
recorded
everyday,
it for like all the stuff. Let me just say, all the screenshots I've done really were purposes of maybe having to go to the authorities and get protection.
I'm just talking about these everyday
random
gossipy, backstabbing kind of things,
And look at
it's like high school. It's like high school with much more technology. I mean, I just can't even imagine being in school right now like that. Oh my gosh.
It's a shame that school is shut down.
Yeah, well, they're going back, actually. They're in there part-time, but I do believe a lot of schools next week are going to go back to full weeks, which I really think is a good idea.
I was thinking the other day.
Are you okay?
Sorry, I just wanted to
okay.
Where are you at now, Tracy? Are you at your apartment?
Yeah. No, I'm outside your apartment.
Come on
Don't
in.
get him excited.
Come on in. You're always welcome here. I'll sleep
Unless
on
I
the
really
couch. I'll
like
be a
them.
perfect
Then
gentleman.
he'd be going. Then he'd be going. Oh my God, you guys, she's really knocking at my door.
You know what? I'd be a perfect gentleman. I'd take the couch. You'd have the whole bed.
That'd be fucking freaky. How would I know where you live? Even?
I don't know. You might have doxed me
That
already.
in itself would be freaky.
Well, yeah, if you just randomly showed up, that'd be a little odd, but
I'd be flattered.
Not if I didn't know your address.
Well, you know what? Things like that nowadays would be, but
yeah.
I noticed a difference too between the bigger cities. I think we talked about this a little bit on another live, but there's the smaller towns are a little less impersonal. I think maybe it's changed, but
Personal or impersonal?
I remember as a kid knocking on friends' doors and their parents would be in the other room and they'd say, "Come on in." They wouldn't say who
Yeah.
it is, they wouldn't come to the door.
Right, right.
That was back in the 70s, but you know.
Yep.
Yeah, but you know what?
It was more trust. More
I
trust.
think that they were, you know, people were still going missing then. People were still things were still happening, and
that's true.
Yeah,
there was more trust.
I always told my daughter, if anybody knocks on the door and I'm in the shower or I'm taking a nap and I don't hear it, you do not answer it.
Yeah.
Do not answer it. And we had a code word that I would say, or if somebody that I had sent there would say, you know, we had a code word.
That it was safe, a safe word.
Yep. That's always important.
Have you ever seen the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco do the bit about when he was growing up as a kid? If someone came to the door, you know, you open the door and your mother had always bought an Entenmann's and you always kept that Entenmann's. Nobody touched that Entenmann's because that was for the company. And mom would take out the Sanka and put it on the table and sit down. We're going to have a cup of coffee. You know, it's so good to see you. He said people would just come by like, oh, I was in the neighborhood. And everybody would be so excited. Come on in, you know.
In England, it was like that.
Oh, my gosh. You got to see him do this skit.
Day.
You really do. You just got to look him up. And he said, now, he said, somebody comes to the door, he said, and dad gets there, he gets the gun, and he's like, all right, everybody down. Get under the beds, don't say a word, you know, and we're gonna shut off all the lights and look like we're not home, you know, and
now here's the thing now. Here's the funny thing.
What?
When people go around and they are visiting, you know, like that, this is in England I'm talking. Now
is this
back,
a while? It must be a while ago you're talking.
Yeah. But now looking back and seeing, you know, how things were and how they went. So you go around and you spend your day visiting. You go in and you talk about the latest gossip, right? That's basically what's going on. Now, my Auntie Jean would always go, shh, the walls have ears. Right?
Well, you were living in a flat.
Huh?
Like, were you living in a semi-detached? Or did, you know,
everything's attached over there, pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much like a row house type thing.
But she didn't mean like that. I think she meant like that. You don't know, like, I think for her, it was at that age, it was instilled.
Yeah.
You know, in her to be like that because of the fact that in England, these people sometimes would repeat your business
to
the next house.
A juicy tidbit is always best shared, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it? How does that saying go? A tasty morsel is always best shared, or
I don't
something
know.
like that.
But I go by two can keep a secret if the other one's dead.
I like that. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe gave me a taste for Sanka. I got Sanka. Right here. I'm gonna make a Sanka.
Isn't that?
I don't have any Entenmann's over here.
What the heck is Entenmann's?
It's a cake.
They're cakes.
Pastry. Yeah.
Oh, it's cake.
Like chocolate cake. I had cannolis yesterday.
Exactly.
My daughter,
the
my little
chocolate
girl,
cake.
The Bomarito Bakery has the best cannoli.
Oh, really? I don't
there's
like
So
cannolis.
a
Isn't that funny?
sponge cake.
I'm listening. I'm getting some Sanka.
Oh my God, that's decaf.
I know. I got caffeinated for morning.
He's got
Ah,
Sanka. He's got the Sanka. Yeah,
yep.
you've gotta listen to that comedian. He's hysterical. Oh
I
my
like it when a
gosh.
good comedian makes me laugh so much I have tears
Oh,
coming.
Tracy, you'd pee your pants. He's so funny. He's that
I do
good.
like that. I
He's that
remember seeing that one. I think his name's Billy something.
Billy
Can't
Burr.
think of it. He's like English or Scottish or Irish, and
Billy, I think you're talking about Billy Burr, right? Bill Burr.
I don't know. He was in
Mhm.
a series of unfortunate events. Did you see that?
Nope. No.
You didn't see
Was
that
he in The
movie?
Mandalorian? I
Uh,
think he was in The Mandalorian too.
Billy Burns. Did you say that?
No, Burr. Burr. Like I have a burr
I
on my
don't
butt.
know him. He was also in Boondock Saints. Did you see that?
Nope.
See Boon
Jeez.
either?
No, I haven't seen that one. Can't say that I
That one
have.
was like, oh, you know, Terry,
No.
you might like that movie. Boondock
What
Saints.
one? Which one, Tracy? Which
Boondock
movie?
Saints.
What is it?
Boondock Saints.
Yeah, I think I might have seen that. I'm not. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, and it's got the guy, and they are like from Scotland or Ireland, right? I think it's
Mm.
Ireland,
Tiffany,
and they
I,
are,
Tiffany said
trying to
hi.
get like revenge for their father or something.
Oh, don't
I
know
don't
that
know.
one.
It's got, it became like a cult classic, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hey, Tiffany, Tracy. Tiffany
yeah.
said hi. She's in the private chat.
Is she coming in? Oh, there she is. I'm
gotta
so
let her in.
sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Here she is, right
You're
here.
not looking away. You're talking. Hip, 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 hip.
Hi.
Hey, how you
Hi.
doing, Tiffany? I'm making a
Good.
segment now. I'm listening. I'm going to make
He's having a Sanka.
I'm baking a sponge cake.
Oh,
No, I'm not. I wouldn't know how to bake a sponge cake in a million years.
I don't even think I know what a sponge cake is.
Spongy
It
cake.
tastes like sponge.
Oh,
That's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good with Cool Whip on it, though.
Cool Whip. What is Cool Whip?
oh.
Somebody tell
Is
me.
that like what you make strawberry shortcake with? Is that like a sponge cake?
Nope, that's angel food cake, right?
I make it with biscuits. I don't know.
You make it
Ooh.
with biscuit.
I make a
Yeah, it's good
biscuit.
like that.
Yes, I make it with a biscuit. You got a problem with that?
I'm more like, I don't really lately I have been eating a lot of sweet. But
Mhm.
usually I'm more of a meat and potato, like a dinner
Mhm.
kind of person, not dessert.
Yeah,
Yeah. So for me, I'm not a big dessert
I'm
eater.
both. I like dessert. I can
Lately,
eat
I've
dessert
been eating
before
an ice
dinner.
cream cone every night. I'm not supposed, for according to some people, I'm not supposed to. They're like, sugar is so bad for cancer, or sugar is so bad for cancer.
I know. Yeah. Oh, don't listen to them.
Everything's bad. Just enjoy your
Mhm.
ice cream cone, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Then they say, oh, you went to your oncologist? What did he say today? He said you could have an ice cream cone every day. Yeah,
Eat your
I
damn
didn't
ice
even ask him
cream.
about ice cream cones.
Yep.
He said medical professionals have researched it.
You should listen to him then.
Yep, and I do. And I'm like in the middle of the night, sleepwalking, eating ice cream. Hey,
So
Tommy. Yeah,
congratulations,
definitely.
Tracy. This is a huge milestone for you today. This is,
Yeah.
Oh
this is
yeah.
great.
Here comes Tommy Highway. Hi.
Howdy, ladies.
Hello.
And secular. This guy.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, folks. How are you?
All right. I like that.
Tiffany. Tiffany, you know Tommy?
No, hi, Tommy. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
Hi, Tommy.
Who was
Good to
telling you
meet
about
you.
Tommy earlier?
Yes, you were. I listened to
My pleasure. Thank you.
the show that you did last night. I wanted to get acquainted with who you were, so that was interesting. That was an interesting show.
when you were here, and then my phone went dead?
No, I was listening to the show. You told me you sent me a link,
Oh, I sent you a link. Oh,
and
yeah.
then I was looking so that I could see the most recent show. So I was listening to
Oh,
that.
okay, good. Because I sent you
Yeah.
a link so you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
On the UFOs. Yeah, you were down to
Yeah.
Roswell, huh?
Yeah. Actually, I just got back I went for 4 days last week. I returned on Sunday, and it was very interesting to say the least. I talked to so many people there that I was literally hoarse for a couple of days. I lost my voice almost.
Oh, really?
Those people are they don't only believe that or believe that it happened, they believe that a UFO did in fact crash there. They're absolutely certain of it. And I'm talking about not just the old people. I'm talking about, I even spoke to a millennial that, let's be honest, they're not really into a lot of things these days.
Yeah.
And I spoke to this girl, and she listen, I grew up in this town, and we know that this happened. Everybody's got
Yeah,
somebody
but
that's
millennials, they know everything.
True.
They think.
But it was very very unique experience. I walked into the UFO museum there, and I explained I was with the UFO man, and I had all my UFO man garb on. And I'll tell you, lady took me by the hand, gave me the private tour, access to everything, even behind the scenes.
Wow.
You were with him?
No, just myself. I was just on the ground, a little field work, but just wonderful experience. I'm really, really glad I got to do that.
Because I was going to ask you if he's as tall as they say he is.
Yeah, Tim's 6 foot something. I'm 6'2", and he's, I think, 6'8", I believe.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
That's tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because 6'2" is a good height.
Yeah, I can see over everything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
Yeah,
my
right?
son's,
You're no Doug Flutie.
my son's girlfriend, 6'4".
Oh, I love tall women.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Wow.
That's
She's
Amazonian.
tall and muscular because she works out and everything, and beautiful girl.
Really? Oh,
And
look,
my
your
son
buddy's
is
here. UFO man.
my son is 5'8". It's kind of funny, but he's like, look, I'm very secure in my manhood. I'm not worried about her height. I think she's a goddess.
Oh,
Good for him.
I dated one in Florida that I can only describe as genetically superior. I mean, I'll put it that way. She was a volleyball player for she was like a full ride scholarship girl, and she was absolutely lovely. But the only problem, I tell you, the only woman I ever met in my life that I wanted to have kids with, because they would have been awesome. But she got a lot of crap for being tall when she was a kid, like a lot, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, she might have had to give birth like a giraffe.
Well, she gets out of college and turns into this just mega hottie, but she still sees herself as this lanky kid, and it messed with her mind, and it made her undateable, unfortunately.
Welcome, Tim.
That's
Survivor Girl. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Doesn't he sound like Tom Reed?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. You think so?
His voice.
I have a really high voice for a guy, I guess.
I love your voice.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I think you both have good, pleasant voices. I don't have one.
Your voice is just fine. I haven't seen you over on the channel lately. What's up?
Well, for a while there, I've been kind of tired a lot. You know what I mean? And then for a while there, I wasn't getting any notifications.
I used to think that I was being shadow banned, but it's not that. It's people need to reset their notification bell.
In between, that little thing in between, and hit it for personalized. Yeah.
Right, because if you don't do that, if you don't reset it from time to time, it's like the YouTube algorithm slows down and forgets to send notifications.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you know what was driving me crazy too was you'd have these awesome live streams, right? Be right in the middle of them, and all of a sudden, someone would do something so that it would stop. I want to know.
Right.
Oh, somebody's playing me in the background. Hear it?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Hold on. I got it.
So anyways, if people don't, this is U.F.O man right here. That's Tommy's partner.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, they do great shows, great live streams where you can tell that every person in that live stream is watching intently.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We appreciate that.
intently.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, somebody was, I don't know if it was somebody or if it was YouTube or whatever, and they stop it right in the middle. And
Yeah, they dropped my
God.
live stream that one night. Yeah, that sucked.
Well, one night I thought it was like 3 in a row.
No, it was one night, and then one night my computer crashed and I was kicked off. So yeah, I've had some issues, but we've corrected it. And
then I thought you were doing them during the week, not weekend. Was it always the weekend?
No, Tommy and I spoke in length, and we decided to do a regular show once a week on a set day.
Regular time slot.
Right. So
Which is a
we
good
do
idea.
it every Saturday night at 8 Central.
Oh, great idea. Yeah.
9 Eastern. The reason is that's the best time to start doing it, even if you live in Pacific time or Mountain time, because it's right around dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people tend to watch.
I thought that wouldn't be a good time to start because it's right around dinner time.
Well, some people like to watch TV when they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
So, people are home, families there.
It basically breaks down to 9 o'clock Eastern time, which seemed to be, pretty much the standard.
Oh, because you guys are 8 o'clock. You're ahead of me. So 9 would be perfect for me.
Mm-hmm, right.
So when you're going on at 8, 9's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're an hour behind us then. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you guys, okay. I'm Central. Yeah, and he's Mountain.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah.
I live
during
in the
dinner time when I was a kid. They would play MASH.
MASH.
Remember that show MASH?
MASH was awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now
I hated it because they were always doing an operation and had blood all over them. It was like
while you're eating dinner.
Yeah.
But Hawkeye was a hoot, though.
Oh, wasn't he? That Alan Alda was great. Alan
Alda.
Yeah.
I liked the guy who he was the their captain or whatever, and then he left in his airplane or helicopter crash.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Remember
the first colonel.
The first colonel.
Yeah.
What was his
name?
He
would wear Blake. Was that the one that would wear the fishy stuff, or was that the
Yeah, that was the one with
Colonel
the
Blake.
Colonel Blake.
Yeah. That was a sad show. That was a sad episode.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Tiffany, you're still here. Secular, you're still here, right?
Yeah.
Sis?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm here.
Secular.
I'm just listening.
You should put your face up there.
Huh?
You should put your face up there.
I'm not going to put my face up there because you guys will be like, oh my God, it's from Roswell.
Put your face up.
No, we won't. I know what you look like.
Tracy.
I'm actually an alien.
At this time, I could pass for one.
Are you guys familiar with Stephen Barone?
No.
The ufologist, Stephen Barone out of Vegas.
The first time I heard about him was last night or the other night when Tim was on.
Tommy. Yeah, he actually has a channel called UFOs over Vegas. And if you get a chance, type that into your YouTube search bar and take a look at it. He has some of the most credible footage online.
Really?
Now, let me ask you a question. Before tonight's show, I did some research, not as much as I would have liked to, but a little bit of research on the Roswell, okay? And because I wanted to have a little more, things to ask you, to talk to you about. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right. I didn't want to ask you the same basic questions that you might get from somebody who just knows the basic story. So my question right now is, in regards to what you just said about the UFO activity over Nevada, and is there still a lot of UFO activity over New Mexico?
Oh, to hear the natives tell it, it practically happens every night. I'm not sure, how accurate that is, but apparently it happens quite often. You have to understand that when you're looking around to the terrain there, it is absolutely flat. I mean, there's nothing, and you're basically in the desert there. So you've got a lot of big ass sky, if you will, to see everything.
Right.
You don't have
But
the
my
obstructions.
question is this: is that because I think I'm not sure about Nevada, but I do know this about New Mexico, was that they said how much of the military testing that goes on there for weapons and everything, right? So they said that during the Second World War, around the time with the Area 51, the Roswell reporting, that it seemed to increase the UFO activity and, things like that, unidentified flying object activity.
Right.
So their thought process was perhaps, because they were saying that somebody so advanced as, from another world like that, did we really think that they would come that close to, like, that? Do they need to come here to observe us? Or are they capable of, having which I would think they are, having an unmanned something to, to observe us?
They probably do. There could be all kinds of reasons that they'd actually want to come in live in person. But to try to figure out what the alien agenda is at this point, I mean, it's anybody's guess. We've got abductions that we know that are happening, and I do believe that. And these people are not crazy. We've got some pretty credible witnesses.
No, I'm not saying they're crazy. I'm just saying, like,
but
their basis was, were they there? The increase of it because of the increase of the testing of weaponry in that area.
It seems the UFO phenomenon in this country seemed to really ramp up as soon as we started testing atomic bombs and using nuclear power. That seemed to get their attention because we've got all kinds of reports, and I'm sure Tim would agree. We've done shows about nuclear vessels, like the first nuclear battleship and things like that, that was basically harassed and not harassed would I guess not be the right way, but it was actually examined, let's say, from afar by UFOs. And we have testimony of the crew that would back that up. But it looks like the splitting of the atom, once we did something that released that kind of energy, that must have got their attention.
Yeah, sometimes even missile systems have been shut down. Now, if they have the capability of shutting down our missiles, where we do not have that capability to, to
Hello?
go in.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My cat is a pain and walked by and okay. So anyway.
Okay, what I was saying is if UFOs have the ability to shut down our missile systems without us as human beings being able to shut down our missile systems, then what is to say that they can't launch them?
True.
So did they shut down our missile systems? I didn't hear about that.
Couple of times.
Yeah, they have shut down our nuclear missile systems in North Dakota, South Dakota. Yes.
Mess with the Russian stuff too, not just us.
And Russians as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to prevent us from destroying the Earth. Maybe they were here before us, and they don't want us to destroy where they live.
Tiffany.
I've kind of been in and out. I was helping my son with a last minute science assignment. He kind of sprung on me. He's done now, but so I only caught tidbits of what you guys were saying, but I was wondering if this information, is this things that you uncovered through the documents that the government released, or are these things that you just have found out by your own research and from, testimony and
research and testimony and documents, all of it.
Have you ever had to use the Freedom of Information Act to get any?
I have in the past. Yes.
Usually we tend to get a lot of the research that's already been done from the FOIA requests from other ufologists and that sort of thing. And we build, our case based on information that they already have, because going back and requesting the same information again is rather redundant. Plus it takes all kinds of time and effort and all of that. So the sources that we use, we absolutely know that they're reliable, and we trust them. So,
And we also collaborate with a lot of different people, and those people have connections to military people who have high-ranking security clearances to where we can get some information. For instance, my brother-in-law was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force, so I can get a lot of information from him. So yeah.
I just had some things literally whispered in my ear in Roswell that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and I'll be talking about that on the show. I mean, I'm granting people anonymity because technically I was down there as a member of the press and all of that, but one story in particular just absolutely blew my mind, and I believe the person that was telling me the story. I mean, they had no reason to frankly to bullshit me.
How revealing did you guys find the government documents to be? I mean, was it shocking? Was it things that were kind of, mild?
Do you mean the documents that were just released by the CIA?
Yes. Yes.
They were heavily redacted.
Yeah. All we ever get is a bunch of black marks and a couple of adjectives.
They shouldn't be allowed to do that. How is that the freedom of information when they're blacking shit out?
Because they call it national security. It's classified.
Right.
That's probably from the Patriot Act.
Now, from piecing it together, just from the adjectives that were maybe not redacted and kind of paraphrasing, did it appear to be compelling information, or was it so redacted it was literally just
unusable?
That's a bummer.
But something happened. It was just a few days ago. Ratcliffe, who was Trump's national security advisor, he came out and dropped something on Fox News. I mean, I can't believe it's not major news. I mean, it dropped my jaw. He actually admitted that, listen, yeah, we've been tracking these things via radar, satellite. We've got pictures that you not believe of these things. I mean, detailed photos
and sensors everywhere picking them up. Not just radars, not just satellite tracking, not just pilots, but sensors.
Everything. So it's a phenomenon that's actually happening. And as far as I'm concerned, Ratcliffe confirmed it.
Wow.
It's interesting because my grandfather's actually he's an actual rocket scientist. He was the lead principal scientist in the development of the Sidewinder missile.
Oh, wow, cool.
And so he and I have spoken about this before because being an engineer, he's a very analytical guy, and he subscribes to beliefs that are very well thought out and everything. And I don't think it's a conspiracy about alien life forms or extraterrestrial, whatever, other beings within our universe or other universes. I think that's pretty reasonable. But he had some pretty insightful feelings about it. He said, absolutely. And, I could go on about, specifically, but he said there's very much so other life, that it would be impossible for there not to be.
Sure.
So the question is when are we going to open ourselves up to the allowance of accepting this, and then furthering?
I think people do, but then the fear of people who they go disappearing, like people will disappear, things like that.
Ridicule.
Yeah, ridicule. Yeah, that was one of the amazing things that I found on the Bigfoot stuff, right? Because there was a guy doing an interview, and he said that when he decided to go into the Bigfoot, the letters that he received on email, private, that said, please do not use this publicly. This is just for your own files. Opened his mind up to how people feel that they could be ridiculed. How many people, how many more accounts there are that we don't know about because people are afraid of being ridiculed.
Jeff, in regards to your comment, are you referring to Roswell? Roswell, there were 2 discs that crashed on the same night, and they were brought down by an electromagnetic device hidden in a Doppler radar. So it was definitely deliberate. It was not an accidental crash.
Oh, wow.
You mean deliberate on our side to bring?
It was deliberate on our side. They were tracking the objects, and they actually brought them down. Really? And when they brought them down, one crashed and broke up just outside Roswell near Socorro, and another one crashed near Aztec. And the one that crashed near Aztec, there was one living being, and I think there were 2 dead ones. And at the one near Socorro that was on the Mac Brazel Ranch, there were 4 or 5, and they're
Now,
all dead.
lithium is magnetic, right?
Pardon me?
Lithium. That's magnetic, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I was, like I told you right before we did the show, I did a little bit more research, so I had a little more better information. And for myself, you're fully informed on things, but so they were saying that the material that the object was that came down, in New Mexico was. I know I'm flipping notebook papers, but that's because I write everything down. I have to. So there's a show that came out on History Channel called The First Witness Diary, 3-part show, and it was aluminum and lithium, and that is a hardening agent used for steel, not usually aluminum, but not commonly found on Earth. Now,
right. We cannot machine it.
So you can drill it, or you can't?
No. We cannot replicate it. We do not have the technology to recreate that type of metal.
So, and lithium is a salt compound, correct?
Right.
Yep.
So
we have a limited,
right?
Well, it depends on what form it's in. I mean, if it's in a crystalline form, then it would be it's a salt, but it can also be a liquid like a mercury type of thing.
Right.
Right. They said it was an alloy. And now, is that the same lithium that they'll give somebody as a pill?
No, the lithium that they give you as a medication is part of the salt molecule. It's not the liquid alloy.
It's the same, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Well, I think it's what one has a place on the periodic table, and the salt does not.
Right. But you said it could be in a salt form, but are they both coming from the same original compound and being made that way? Like, you either melt it and become the.
I'm not entirely certain, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't answer that one.
Okay, because I was looking up lithium and the aluminum, and they were saying that a lot of the spacecraft that we use now are made from this aluminum and lithium mixture, and it saved them a lot of money making the atomic bombs because they were so heavy.
Right. They've come close to recreating the Roswell metal, but they have not created the exact same, let's say, template of what they recovered.
We've created something with the basic idea of the material, but not of the same compounds and materials made out of, because they don't exist for the large part on the planet. And that's one of the things that spectrometers on some of the samples that they've actually scanned, the spectrometers didn't know what to do with it, because they're used to seeing elements that exist on our planet or elements that we are otherwise commonly aware of. So that's how the machine is programmed. So you put something from another place that it doesn't know how to deal with it, it won't be able to read it. And some material is around that has those properties that they cannot use. They can't use a spectrometer on, and things that they can normally do. So who knows?
Hey guys, I hate to say this, but I gotta head out. It was nice being on here. I will come back again some other time.
Oh, thank you.
It was nice meeting you.
Yeah,
nice meeting you too. You all take care.
I'm really getting interested in this when I started to read. I was interested before, but to read more into it makes it it's like going down a rabbit hole.
You guys are making it more believable.
Well, thank you.
That's our job. Thank you.
That's our job on our channel. So if you come to our channel and watch,
let me drop your link. I'm going to do that right now.
You, I'm going to be the skeptic. I'm going to
That's
remain
fine. Be the skeptical.
That's what scientists. We're going to approach this like scientists. We're going to.
Well, you see, we want people to talk.
We want evidence. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
I think I
This is
can't
Alrighty,
believe
guys.
people don't
We'll see you
believe.
later.
No,
You
they
take
show a
care.
lot of good evidence. The videos and everything they show, like that cow one and everything, that was
I'll
great.
watch them. I'll view them with an open mind.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've had 2 experiences that changed the entire game. It changed the way I think about everything in daily life.
Absolutely.
And I'm still skeptical because, I mean, there's a lot of, let's be honest, there's a lot of bullshitters out there when it comes to ufology. There's a lot of fake footage and things like that. And one of the things that Tim and I, especially Tim, is so good at is we put the footage through different processes and things like that to be able to determine whether or not we're looking at CGI, let's say, or, some other type of a hoax. And occasionally we'll get a video that we know is complete BS and we'll actually play it on the show anyway, just to call it out as the BS that it is. And this is why we think it's BS kind of thing.
Right. So you're sifting through everything.
Correct. Yeah.
Now,
Right.
how many accounts do you take into consideration of people who have potential encounters with it? I had a situation with my younger son where he's high functioning autism, and at the time he was about almost 4, and he had woken up that morning from going to bed the night before, obviously, and started telling me about this, what I assumed was to be a dream. But the problem with this whole situation is at the time he didn't have a whole lot of expressive speech. He had very few words. They were limited and they weren't very detailed. It was more, things like, I want to go outside. I want my ball. I want to, juice.
Mhm.
But he woke up that morning. He started telling me and his older brother in detail about what I would call a dream that he had had. And I won't bore you guys with the specifics about it, but more or less, he basically explained an encounter. And when
Wow.
you guys when he was telling me about this, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. And here's the reason why. In our household, during the period of time from his birth to that age, that day, that moment, we weren't a family that spoke about aliens. We didn't have any type of interest. It was just not a word in our vocabulary that would have ever come up. He was in extensive therapy daily at the time. I monitored what he took in his environment, what he watched, what he read, what he was learning. So I can tell you with absolute 100% confidence, there was no point in time up to that point that he was ever taught about what an alien was. But when he woke up that morning, he told me a very specific encounter that he had had. They came into his room. It was dark. There was a bright light. They wanted his juice cup. They took him outside. They were on the sidewalk. He described what they looked like. And this is a kid who didn't really talk. And he had such specific detail about this, and I'm just going to call it a dream because I don't know what else to call it, that he had had. He wasn't scared. He wasn't, out of sorts. He was just like telling us about it like it was a matter of fact thing. I mean, getting over the shock that he was talking so much was one thing, but then when I had him repeat it, which he did without skipping a beat, I mean, it was the same. He gave the same exact account twice. Wow. It literally, I mean, I was so creeped out. I mean, I was terrified, honestly. It really scared the bejesus out of me, so wow. I've never known what to make of that. This is only the second time I've ever shared it with people. My older son was there, and he and I discussed it before, like, what the heck? But we just kind of put it off. I honestly didn't want to think about it because it creeped me out really bad. Like I wanted to move. I had a hard time.
My advice to you, to be honest, if something like this were to ever happen again, see if you can get him to do it on camera and record it. And also right away, make sure you check his body for any kind of strange marks or anything like that, because typically if people have been abductees, they will have some bruising or some kind of marks of some kind on their body that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, the problem with him was he, being autistic, at the time we were still overcoming some of his vestibular sensory issues. So he had a hard time understanding where his body was in relation to the space around him. So he fell a lot. He would have bumps, and so I mean, I would have if there was some weird something, I would have noticed it because he was so young at the time still. But I've been thinking about asking him in recording it if he remembers this dream. I'm going to call it a dream when I ask him and see what he can recall from that. He has a pretty phenomenal memory, and he's 11 now. So this was a long time ago, though. But he's much more verbally, he's at where he should be, age appropriate.
Maybe he still has the dreams too, and doesn't say anything because now he's older. He doesn't want ridicule.
Possibly, or it might scare him. I don't know, but it was, you guys, it's something I have never experienced something so creepy before in my life. Yeah, it was really wild. And like I said, he wasn't scared. He never had anything after that he'd shared with us, but he was so specific. I mean, he described there was two, and they were a grayish bluish color. And he said they had very big eyes and a triangle shaped head and very long fingers, and they wanted his juice cup. That's
odd, a triangle shaped head. Usually it's, like a big round head.
Yeah, but he might be thinking in terms of geometrically this way, like the point is here, and I can kind of see that, I suppose.
Cash had a lot of interest.
You mean, like big up top and then small chin.
Yeah.
He had a lot of interest in shape and I don't know. He had very bizarre interests at the time. He was really laser focused on. He would take his little Matchbox cars and he would shoot them down this old ramp thing he'd have, and he'd place cups on the ground, and he was able to judge where the car would launch depending on its size and its weight, how it would land, where to place the cup, and he would do this all in his head, and so he was into things like that. So the triangle shaped head wasn't too odd to me, but it was the light. Oh, and then another thing he told us too is that he said when he went outside on the sidewalk with them, he said that everything became daylight. He described it in very detail. Everything was very bright. It was daylight. It was sunny. And I asked him how they, well, where did they go? He said they told me they had to go back to their house, and, I had to go back to bed, and they took me into my room and they gave me my cup back because I told him, make sure, you give me my cup back. And he was very concerned about the cup. They gave it to him. And he said then they just went. And I'm like, how did they go? And he couldn't describe that. He didn't have those kinds of details, but it was creepy. I get goosebumps. Yeah, it's really creepy. I get goosebumps now thinking about it. I was so scared.
Yeah, let me ask you something, Tiffany. Remember the other day you said, he wanted me to tell you about the border, the going around the border of the classrooms. If there's the cursive, he wanted to tell you there is no cursive, and that his teacher said they were going to learn cursive. I don't remember talking about cursive with him.
We were talking about it when we were live, and we were talking about somebody in the chat brought up cursive writing in elementary school.
I remember talking about whales and what you guys were going to get to eat. But it was so strange because when you came out with that, I was like, I remember. And he said, he wanted me to tell you that there is no border around, like a psychic almost.
Cash has a very, very deep manner of processing things. He's very, he's very quiet. He's very calm, but he takes in a lot more than I realize even still to this day.
I remember talking about it, and it was like you had this answer already prepared. Like Cash already had answered a question that I hadn't asked yet.
Yeah, no. Somebody in the chat, prudently, I think you might have been in there that day too.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was somebody in the chat. You do, yeah.
Right. He said that he wanted you to tell SG that he was writing in cursive.
Oh, that was the other chat. That was the one. Yeah.
Tommy, I have another question. I have a question for Tommy before we lose him. I've been listening to a lot of Dave Pilates' work, and it's very, very interesting, when you hear him talk about the missing people. Do you think there's, some correlation? There's some kind of, I don't know how to word it even, but some link between those people that go missing and are just never seen again, and a type of, paranormal.
That's a great question.
I mean, have you put together any type of like a timeline of when, certain people have gone missing in these areas, which really does seem to be in those national forests and the big spaces, and when people have maybe, called in or reported seeing something? It would be really kind of interesting to see if people are reporting something at the same time as these people are going missing, during the same time frame, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But have you found any link? Or
there's one case that we're aware of. Well, as far as a link between sightings and then the abduction of people, there may be some cases where there is a correlation, but one that we're aware of for certain. It was interesting because it was actually witnessed by someone very high up in New York in the UN. Okay. The assistant deputy secretary of the entire United Nations.
Wow.
And he witnessed a woman literally be pulled from a 12-story building by two gray aliens. I mean, out the window and then up into a craft. He saw it. His bodyguards saw it. And people all over New York were reporting this thing because, I mean, this UFO was just hovering over this building, basically. I mean,
when was this? When?
This was about 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I can get you the exact the date, but about 10 years ago or so. And this was another one that was reported for like a blip, real quick, and then that was it. You never heard about it again. This was a very high-ranking UN official that made the report, and a person. Well, and let me go back to Survivor Girl's point earlier with the ridicule. You have to watch it. You really do, depending on what you do for a living. And I was a government IT guy with clearances and stuff out the yang for more years than I should have been. And I had to keep my experiences. I had to keep my mouth shut completely because not only the ridicule that I would have faced, and there would have been a ton from the people I worked with, but I would have also at that point been, a mental defective or whatever. I'm losing my career over this. I was told the other day that I'm risking my career by being on Tim's channel for whatever it's worth.
Boy.
Right.
Well, let me tell you, that was a common connection between these disappearances, was that a lot of them did have a military background and clearance and things like that. And when I was looking into that Roswell thing, they said, keep in mind, if skeptical, keep in mind the deathbed confession.
Yeah.
That a lot of those people did a lot of deathbed confessions because of the ridicule or the loss of their jobs, things like that.
Yeah, they're going out. They don't care anymore, and it's time to go ahead and dump their information. You're right. There have been a ton of credible people that actually did that. YouTube is full of those stories. You can go up and look at the deathbed confessions of high-ranking government officials and things, and everybody's saying, "Look, this is real. This is happening. We know about them. We've done experiments on them." There's even the Dulce base in Nevada. Supposedly we were working in cahoots with the aliens, and there was a misunderstanding and a big firefight broke out, and they left our planet because of it.
Wow.
So
Tommy, are you familiar with an astronomer named Robert Wyrick?
I've heard the name Wyrick before.
Yeah, I'm over here. I just did a simple search, and the New Yorker and Fox News have articles pertaining to to extraterrestrial life. One was, have we already been visited by aliens? A Canadian astronomer named Robert Wyrick was reviewing images on a telescope. He noticed something strange. NASA. These might be articles worth reading.
Sure.
Forbes as well. Forbes. I don't know if it was. I'd rather if it was like Discover Magazine or National Geographic or one of those.
It's getting to the point where it's getting very hard, very difficult to suppress, for governments to suppress the facts about UFOs. And the reason why is the internet. Because if you think about it, the one thing that the internet did, whether you deem this to be good for our society or not, is that if something happens to me and I'm in, let's say, I don't know, Rio, South America, someplace, whatever, something happens to me, I can report it worldwide in a matter of seconds. I can show my video, my photos, and the whole 9 yards. Where before, and let's say 30 years ago, that was not possible. We did not have that level of contact. Therefore, we did not have that level of collaboration, let's say, that we do today. So governments are coming around to the fact that we're not stupid. Okay. There's something obviously happening. There's too many reports. There's too many videos. There's too many unexplained events that are happening out there for this just to be all bullshit. And I think most people have gotten that figured out. And to the very attractive young lady sitting next to me over here, I'm sorry, what was your name again, ma'am?
Oh, Tiffany.
Tiffany. To your point, and to your grandfather's point, your father's point, I mean, of all of the planets in the cosmos, and we're just one small piece of the puzzle. The universe is so vast. Of course, there has to be other life out there. I mean, it would only be human arrogance to think that we're the only thing going.
Yeah, there's billions of planets, right? Listen to this. A Harvard professor says an alien visited in 2017. This was in the New York Post, 2021.
Is that Dr. John Mack?
I'm looking.
Tommy, how many of your people who subscribe to your guys' channels or belongs to your groups and stuff, how many, what other types of beliefs would you say they're also involved in? Are these people who are big time conspiracy theorists who maybe think the earth is flat? Or are these more of a different type of researcher who is truly are they focused just on the UFOs and the alien things? Are they more broad range?
Well, I would have to say for the most part, our audience is they kind of, it's hard to really generalize because they come from all over the world, all forms or all walks of life, that sort of thing. Most people I would say moderates. They're just there for the UFO thing. There are other people that are into UFOs and into the paranormal. It's something that Tim and I have actually stuck our toes in from now and then in the water from now and then with that stuff. But
and I don't think you guys try to force anything down anybody's throat. You kind of entertain, because a lot of people, what I've noticed you have a lot of people in your live stream, and they all are, first of all, very respectful. I would say that. And second, they, each one, as it seems, including myself, have our own theories. They state them, and nobody sits there saying that's stupid. Everybody kind of thinks, that's interesting. You know what I mean? Like it's a chat room. Like people are passing out ideas. It's I find everybody is watching intently, I think.
Hey, excuse me, you guys. Let me read something real quick to you. A Harvard professor says an alien visited in 2017 and more are coming. When the first sign of intelligent life visits us from space, it won't be a giant saucer hovering over New York. More likely, it will be an alien civilization's trash. A.V. Loeb, chair of Harvard's Department of Astronomy, believes he's already found some of that garbage in his upcoming book, Extraterrestrial, the First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth. That looks interesting.
It does sound interesting. Well, that what was that, Oumuamua or whatever, that asteroid that flew through a couple of years ago out of nowhere, that oblong shape, Oumuamua, that's what it was. Thing flew.
Yeah, he's got a picture of it.
Yeah, that thing literally, things are supposed to work a certain way in a solar system. Okay, things are supposed to travel a certain way, orbit a certain way. There's a natural order to it. Okay. Well, this Oumuamua thing, and this is a huge oblong shaped, object of some kind. It came spiraling in from outside of the disk that keeps our particular solar system, the laws of our solar system together. It comes spinning in from some other place, which is a very unusual thing, and passed through our very relatively close to us as it spun by. And they did all kinds of, this was when Stephen Hawking was alive. They did all kinds of scans on it, things of that nature. Stephen Hawking was really interested in this. And then all of a sudden he got real quiet. In fact, they all got real quiet about this. And that's just something I picked up. They were so excited about it. Oh, we're excited. And then it's, oh, never mind. It's just a rock. Well, how did it get here? Where did it come from? And we have the math and science to be able to determine its origin to a fairly certain degree by its current pattern, its current flight path. I think there was more to that. I think there was.
So?
Yeah.
He has a question for you, Tommy. What timeline between Roswell and the Manhattan Project?
That's the thing. They're real close together. The Manhattan, they're within a few years. And it's like I was saying earlier, the UFO activity and the sightings and all of that really we really saw a major uptick when we started playing with the atomic bomb.
During World War II. Well, Einstein was writing letters to Roosevelt telling him that, the Germans had split the atom. And so that's what forced Roosevelt to, create the Manhattan Project. Right. So I was doing actually research on the Salton Sea when I started, finding out a lot about the atomic program and the Manhattan Project and all that. It was so interesting. Before I forget, and we get too far away from this though, somebody was asking about events where multiple people had witnessed.
Yeah, and I had one of those.
Right. Now this video I watched, I can't remember if it was that Politis guy or somebody else. I want to say it was Politis. And he was talking to someone and his wife, more his wife. But the man had written books. Hi, baby Jane, by the way, welcome. Had written books, and his wife liked to hunt. So they lived out in the woods, and it was daytime. And she went out and she got in, the deer stand. And it was, normal, you could hear the insects and the birds and everything. And then all of a sudden it went dead silent. And I thought this was really interesting because she got a picture. And it was like not Terminator, Predator, the movie Predator.
Yep.
And you couldn't see it, but you could see it because where it was, you could see the leaves and they would be blurry. You could tell there was a form, but you could see what was behind it.
Right.
So it was invisible, but would blur as it moved. And it also moved the objects that it was moving through. So as it was going from tree to tree up above, it was in the tree, in front of her because she's in a deer stand.
Interesting.
Yep. And as it was going, now it was about 6 o'clock. So it was not, brilliantly light out, but light enough. As this was going, she took a picture and you can see it. And then, as that was occurring, her husband, who in the town they lived in was a author of books pertaining to UFOs and things like that, received a letter from one of his old students, if he had been a teacher, and saying that day during band practice, which was out on the football field, right? So he said the entire band was there, the teacher, everything. That something was in the air with a big, huge blue. There was something there, not the same thing she was seeing out in the woods, but it was occurring at the same time.
Wow.
And so, that was what, made this particular author. I'll find the video and I will, send it to you on your channel because I think you'll find that interesting, the way where normally we're looking at things visually, but she got a picture and you could see.
When you,
very different.
If you're ever, I guess, fortunate or unfortunate, depending on how you look at it, but if you're ever, let's say, fortunate enough to have an encounter with alien technology, with exotic technology, let me tell you, folks, it changes everything. I mean, in an instant, it's like I'm thinking to myself, my first encounter, I'm 19 years old, looking at this, and I'm thinking to myself, with a 19-year-old mind, oh, so this isn't all bullshit. This is real. Okay, this is really happening, and I'm having that thought. In fact, that night when I arrived home, I was late to pick up my girlfriend because what was going on shut my car off, and I was supposed to pick her up from work. Well, by the time I got back to where she worked, she was already gone. I get home, she's waiting for me, ticked off, completely. And I tried to explain to her what just happened to me, this profound experience. My eyes had to have been this big around. I mean, and I'm trying to convey this to my woman, and what am I getting in return? I'm getting, well, oh, that's just crazy. Oh, that's, what are you drinking? What are you smoking? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, so let me see if I've got this straight here. I'm late to pick you up for the very first time. And the excuse that I come up with is UFO encounter.
Well, here's the thing. When Prudently was asking you about a common link between, the people missing from the national parks, you could think maybe the common link between people who have been abducted by UFOs is also a common link between the missing people that they do find alive in those, the missing in the national parks is a lapse of time.
Like they could have been abducted for a while and then set back
down. That's what they say. Right. They all say that their family said you were gone for 5 days, and they think it was a day.
Yeah, well, Travis Walton, that's what happened to him. I mean, he was gone for several days, and he had, at first, he had no knowledge, of anything that happened to him until he went through the hypnotic therapy and all that. If you guys want to see a treat, I'm probably not supposed to do this, but if you'd like to see a treat here, let me kick a link for you here. It's a little sneak peek of my Roswell trip if you're interested.
Oh, I'm interested. I am definitely interested.
You, and it's fine and it won't get me struck or anything. Yeah, if it's you, and you have
I have full permission from everybody involved on this one.
By all means, I love it that you're going to do this. I love it that you do this stuff on your channel. I think it's great. I love that you're going to do it. Thank you.
Let me find the chat room. One of the coolest things, and again, I was going to save this, but you guys are so nice. If you scroll to the bottom of the page right there, there is you just have to hover your mouse over it, but you're going to see like an old timey radio photo down there. Okay. And what that actually is the actual news broadcast.
What is scroll on what though? I don't see anything. Did you drop a link?
Yeah, it's that link. Just click on the link right there in the chat room.
I think you have to be a mod to drop a link, right?
No, I posted.
I'm 10 minutes behind, or not 10 minutes, but they said 10 seconds, but I don't see anything. I thought you were going to play the video for us.
Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to bring me on? I can do that.
I thought you did. How do I do it?
You'd have to do it as a moderator. Best thing is just to check out the link there. Is anybody having a problem opening that?
I can make you a mod. Oh, no, I'd have to go. No, I think I could do that. If I go to last night's live stream, make you a mod, then you'll be a mod, and you could do what you want. If you want to play a video, I'd love it.
I don't see a link.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Where is the freaking? Where's the chat?
I'm gonna go. It'll make me leave. I'll have to leave this one to go to last night. I think.
No, there you go. Let me post the link again. Everybody see the link there?
No.
Is it on your channel?
Yeah, it's on my. Well, if you go to TommyHighway.com, and right along
that link.
Yeah, right along the top, you'll see Roswell Expedition will be one of the little tab things. Click on that, and that'll take you where you're
dropping the wrong one because I was surprised. It said you only had 100 and something subscribers.
Yeah, I don't have very many. In fact, I haven't shot a video in a while. I'm going to get back into that this week. I tried to take a break.
Let me go over and sub to you real quick. Let me go find your account.
Yeah, see, you can. He comes right up. You just type in Tommy Highway. I thought you were going to play a video for it. But I thought that you do that that's Tim who was able to have that technology.
Like I need to share. Like I need to share screen, and then on your end, you should be able to bring me up there.
Bring you up where?
Well, look on your StreamYard. Are you using StreamYard, right? Yeah, look on StreamYard, and you should be on the bottom tab right there. You should see another window that opened up.
Oh, does it say broadcast info? No. It says guest, post comment, layout, private chat, broadcast info, settings, or cancel.
Now, if you're not seeing, I'm not really sure how to do it myself, but usually you'll see you see the people down there in the window. On the window, you should see another window down there, like on the bottom of your screen. and that would be my share.
Oh, we got to get you a computer.
Maybe that's what it is. That I'm using a phone.
She's
you're
on
using
her
a phone.
phone.
Oh yeah,
right.
then all bets are off on that one. But like I say, folks, just go out to TommyHighway.com.
Okay, we'll
and
do
it's
that.
and it's just click on that link, Roswell Expedition.
Okay.
But the coolest thing that I saw, I mean, I saw a lot of cool stuff, but that radio I was telling you about at the bottom of the page, if you just hover your mouse over that, that will play the actual Roswell news broadcast from that day, from when it actually happened.
Oh, that's cool.
They've got quotes from the military and everything else. And then after all of that, the military the next day turns around and says, "Oh, it was a weather balloon."
Yeah, they retracted it. Yeah.
It's what they call it at the Roswell Museum. They call it their smoking gun.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting.
Wow.
Well, I wonder if it's something to do with the fact that they wanted to replicate the material that it was made out of. Because when I was doing my research tonight about the aluminum and the lithium, and we must have had some kind of knowledge about the lithium and its hardening potential to steel, because now they're making these things out of the lithium and aluminum, following that.
There's all kinds of technology that we all of a sudden we went from the vacuum tube to the printed circuit in a matter of a couple of years. Okay, which we shouldn't have been able to do. When you look at the evolution of technology and a timeline, we shouldn't have been able to do it that fast. The other thing is there's really no reason for us to have fiber optics. Okay, that's another thing that I'm absolutely convinced that we got from a UFO crash.
Really?
Because we weren't thinking about along those lines at all back then. We had no concept of fiber optics until all of a sudden we did, and the shit worked. Okay, and it wasn't even like we had to experiment with it for years and all of that. I mean, we basically nailed it, and there's just no way that we should have been able to do that in the late 50s, early 60s. There's just no way.
Right.
I mean, there's no calculators, for God's sake. You're talking pre-calculator.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom, here comes a printed circuit. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
What do you mean a printed circuit? Is that
a circuit
board? What do
you
mean?
A circuit board, like it's in your phone or wherever, whatever you got, whatever kind of device you have.
Right. So fiber optics, though, isn't that like partly material too? Isn't that material like?
Well, fiber optics is essentially glass wire, if you will, and it's so it's permeable with light, and it's actually covered in a very special coating that still keeps the light intact, keeps the light contained. Okay. And as far as the light going through a glass tube, we already had that figured out. But it was the coating, the actual coating of the glass wire itself that made fiber optics possible. Trust me, I've been through a million classes on this in my profession, so I'm kind of an expert.
Right. No, the reason why I ask is because I started a while ago. I came across spirochetes. Now I could be pronouncing it wrong. I'm pronouncing it how it's.
What is it again?
Spelled, huh?
What was it again?
Spirochetes. So it's spelled Spirochetes. And they were talking about how they're like a wormy bacteria. And there's a disease called Morgellons disease that is similar to the fibromyalgia and different diseases that for a long time doctors were saying was in the patient's head. And then when they discovered these spirochetes, or whatever they are, spirochetes, they noticed that some of the lesions on the patient contained a fiber that they could not identify. And they even had ran it through and all the people who are in forensics and have studied, the database of every fiber that we compare, fibers to.
Right.
It doesn't appear there either. And
interesting.
I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting because while perhaps we're looking for aliens that are visible to the human eye, maybe they're not.
They could be microscopic. There's, I mean, who knows? We evolved on this planet, or whatever. We got here with whatever your particular flavor of Genesis is. I don't want to, but basically, if I'm an evolutionist, and it looks to me like we evolved a certain way, and we evolved around the conditions on our planet. All right.
Yeah.
That's we grew to basically our container.
I
And
agree on that.
another planet with a completely different ecosystem, totally different sport altogether. Who's to say what form of life, intelligent life will take there? Will it look like us, or will it look like, I don't know, a rock with a mind? Who knows?
Right.
The possibilities literally are infinite.
And it could look like a rock with a mind where, we just stop talking and just look at people and they can read our thoughts and they can, and we just have to a virtual reality. So we don't even have to go anywhere. We don't need our legs and our arms. We don't need, to feel. And I think because we think we are, but we're not.
Well,
I think there's a massive amount of evidence that we evolved. We have organs we no longer use.
Sure.
Our social behaviors are very, very much like primates and other mammals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, but what about the redwoods? Those giant trees in what is it? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Left over from prehistoric times.
Yes, like can you imagine? They don't grow anywhere else.
I don't think so. I think the California redwood is native to California. I'm not even sure if they've ever tried to
thanks
plant
for
it
throwing that one on. California redwood is native to California.
Well, I mean,
you're right.
Well, what I mean is, I'm not sure if they've ever tried to plant them anywhere else. It takes so damn long to grow. We're talking, thousands of hundreds of or thousands of years, some of them.
Right. And the thing is like, I think to myself, you know how, they had the so you look at like some of these, what do they call it? Oh my God, it was a dinosaur's named Velociraptor.
Mm-hmm.
Velociraptor, is that it?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a big, dinosaur researcher or whatever. Right. But, so here you've got this dinosaur that kind of is almost like a dragon, and it's flying with, wings with feathers. Right.
Well, birds, I think birds. Dinosaurs turned into birds after they evolved into birds.
Right, like they started getting that. Think how scary that would be. They weighed up to some of them weighed up to 500 pounds.
Oh, pterodactyl was huge. I mean, it's something that could probably almost carry away a bus. Some of them.
Right. Yeah. So I have to wonder, so if dinosaurs laid eggs and birds laid eggs, maybe they were fertilizing each other's eggs.
Possible. Well, one of the things, I mean, if you look at it, and to the gentleman's point there, I'm sorry, sir, what was your first name again?
Who, me? Terry.
Terry, I'm sorry, Terry.
Yeah.
To your point, you're right. We do have organs we don't use anymore. We also have massive portions of our brain that just seem to be there for no reason. Things of that nature.
If you think the primitive part of our brain as well, we have a tailbone. We still have our tailbone.
Sure. If you think about evolution, and again, you're all subjective to the environment that you have to evolve in, and that's the bottom line. Me personally, I believe in the theory of evolution. It's the only one that makes sense. I mean, again, I don't want to dump on anyone's religion or anything like that. Something had to create something out of whatever. But the bottom line is, if you break the human body, or really any animal body down, we're electrical beings. We're beings of energy.
Yeah, we're electrical energy. Yeah.
Right.
And you can't kill that.
Right. And so, energy cannot be created or destroyed. So, basically, the natural evolutionary process, that being at some point would probably tend to become pure energy and shred the mortal coil, so to speak. When you get to the point where you don't need that, maybe that's our fate. Maybe that's where we end up if we last that long.
Well, that's right. That's a good theory.
Right. Well, right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Survivor Girl.
No, that's it. No, that's all I had to say. That's a good theory that we just become pure energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think
based on the Terry's observation that that there is organs that we don't use.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have evolutionary evidence on us and in us. There's no doubt.
Yeah. The appendix is something we would have needed on the savannah. We don't need that now.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
But it could burst and kill us.
We don't have our canine.
I wonder why it doesn't eventually just not be
You
there
don't need your
anymore.
spleen, you
Well,
don't
we
need
get
your
angry.
bronchus, you don't need, you don't need your appendix, and you don't need your gallbladder.
Yeah, when we get angry, we snarl. What we're doing is we're showing our ancestors would have had long canines. When we get mad, we make that facial expression. But cooking the meat, after cooking, learning using fire, we did something that, just kind of after hundreds of thousands of years, we didn't need anymore. And you shouldn't have had to hesitate when you said that, Tommy. We're in a free society where we don't have to pretend we like something we don't.
Oh, about the religion stuff?
Oh, well, I appreciate that, but anymore, I mean,
We're number
They do have to, people, and the thing is that when you think about it scientifically, that's the way you have to think though, scientifically,
right,
is that, the whole made out of Adam's rib I mean, but also,
that's the easiest explanation for a lot of
the
Americans.
easiest because scientifically is like quantum physics, where it could drive you mad.
Well, we're number 22 in science literacy. Other parts of the country, we're not having this discussion. But they're probably taught, they probably get more, they meaning, Norwegians, Japanese, probably get more biology.
I don't think so. I find a lot of smart people. Look at, here's a panel of people. Oh, Tom. Oh, there's Tommy. Okay. Who left? Baby Jane and no, Tiffany's here, right? No.
She left.
No, she split a while ago.
Oh, I don't know.
You had a good.
She'll be back. She's very intelligent. Baby Jane is. They're both very, very intelligent. I mean, that's the thing, and I think myself that we're intelligent people. The fact that we're sitting here having the conversation, is, I'd imagine, seriously, Terry, you say, okay, I think in Japan, they're more into blah, 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 blah. But you don't know what's being said, really? Like if it's a whole Japanese thing. I saw Tom Reed one time talking about, he's very smart, and he was talking about a woman who had done so much work on cancer that she was almost had a cure. Like she was prudently. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Well, he was talking. I think
I'm sorry.
Who had mentioned, but and he said that he, what has he really done? But he said, but here, my videos, not mine, his, were getting over 1,000 views. He said, and here's a woman who is talking about such a contribution to life. And she's got 100 views if she's lucky. He said, and I think, I filled it in myself. Like, I didn't say anything, of course, because, whatever. But
I don't know.
I filled in the blanks myself, but he gets more views for a 6-second video of what he's eating that day.
If I could respond to that last comment about apes, why haven't apes evolved? Are they going to evolve into humans? Well, the truth of the matter is, and I agree with Terry, they probably are in a state of evolution. I'm sure that really we all are. It's probably an ever-changing state of evolution. For whatever reason, we just got there first before they did. Now, you had that ape named Coco, and not only did the thing do sign language, but I mean, it actually composed thoughts. I mean, it had a kitten, and then the kitten got run over, and it got bummed out, and it told a story of how bummed out it was, and all of that. And so there was actual thought, taking place there.
Elephants can paint. I was shocked.
Really?
Yeah. There's videos.
Let me tell you something. I watched this Bob Grimm something, that one. I always get his last name screwed up. But I like him because he does his videos trying to a scientific way. He's not a skeptic in any way, shape, or form. But he's trying to explain to people scientifically too.
Yeah.
So he said that chimpanzees, when they were tested with some numbers on a computer screen, and they would put up like 7 numbers real quick in a fraction of a second, and then they had to, respond in a fraction of a second. So what was taking the regular human being 6 to 10 seconds to perceive, it took a chimpanzee a half a second to perceive.
Hmm.
So he was comparing that to, so say if Sasquatch is a evolved intelligent primate, the reason why maybe we're not seeing them is because he sees us in a fraction of a second or less, and it takes us longer time to perceive him.
Hmm.
By the time we think we saw what we saw, they're gone. Just
Well,
like maybe a UFO.
We've shed a ton of instincts along the way too. I mean, we're no longer that. I mean, I'm sure at one point, like, okay, imagine if you were to walk up to, say, a mountain lion. All right, you sneak up on a mountain lion, you touch a mountain lion, it's gonna react like this. Okay, I'm sure we did that. I'm sure as humans we had that same reaction to stimuli. We were just as paranoid because we had to be. Everything was trying to kill us.
Scared or attacked? I didn't see what the reaction you did was, because I was reading natural concern.
What's that?
I didn't. One of those is fake.
You know,
I just got
Survivor.
back.
Stay
Wait a
on
minute.
task.
Look at. One of those has to be fake. It says natural concern and it's spelled right. And here it says natural concern and it's a CONCERH.
No, it's a CERN. They're all spelled the same.
No. Oh, now it does. She fixed it. She must have fixed it, or the person did. See, I'm afraid of that one.
I have another question before I need to pop out because I've got to get up early in the morning. But I wanted to just ask Tommy one more thing,
please,
if that's okay.
Please.
Concerning the victims of alien abduction, does your channel explore their testimonials? In any way, or do you ever bring anybody on? I mean, in your research, have you talked to quite a few of these? I'm going to say victims. I can't. I don't know if they consider themselves victims, but
I think the accepted term in the 21st century is experiencers is what they're using.
Okay.
It used to be abductees, but now it's experiencers.
Okay.
And to answer your question, yeah, we have done shows on that, and we've actually played the hypnosis and things of that nature.
Okay.
We would be open to chatting with some of these folks, to be honest with you. But here's the thing about ufology, and this may be kind of a hard pill to swallow, but here it goes. There's a lot of crackpots in this business. I mean, there's a lot of weirdos you're going to get that. And, we've spoken with people that claim that they're part of the secret space program and, you name it. I mean, seriously, we have. And
Really?
it's like, and some of them make actually credible. They sound credible, but we have little tricks that we can play on them and go back in dates, and we use foreshadowing and things like that. And we can usually weed out a bullshitter, let's say, pardon my language.
Right. Right.
That being said, I do believe that there is a certain percentage of the population that have had these experiences. I believe that people that come from really all walks of life. We're not talking rich people, poor people, white people, black people, anybody. I do believe that. I believe that we also, we've done a show. There was Dr. Jack Lear, I think his name was. He passed away a few years ago, but he was a researcher and a pioneer on implants that were left behind in people's bodies.
Okay.
And go out. My advice would probably be to go out to YouTube and type in alien implants, and you'd be surprised at the mind-blowing stuff that this guy did. He found implants in people that were emitting radio signals, and as soon as they were extracted, they stopped. And I mean, they've got the instrumentation right there showing it. It's incredible.
Well, what's funny is that could be another way that maybe our government is using their designs, because of, like I was saying about the metal being used now in our weaponry. And the movie The Manchurian Candidate, which I think is a good movie. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I think we've got some of that going on right now, as a matter of fact, personally.
I do too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely. That it would be so easy that would explain so many times when someone has walked in, a totally normal person, or, maybe not, well, they put it off to, okay, they're ex-military. They did tours, so they're having an issue with PTSD. It would explain it for anything. They could get somebody put a chip in them, and 2 words could hypnotize them into a killing machine.
I'm not sure we're to that yet. In fact, I mean, there's chips that are going in. I think Norway or something chips their people or once or whatever, but the technology is still real raw. And the fact of the matter is, it still needs a power source, right? The thing that was interesting about the implants that were coming out of the bodies that they were extracting is the implants themselves appeared to be powered by the bioelectric field of the body itself in some way. And that when it was disconnected from the body, it lost its power source. Now that we can't do, not even close. You're talking nanotechnology or even something above.
Right. Can I just get back to my question for one quick sec?
Yes, please.
There was one more part I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
Have you heard of that psychiatrist? He's a professor at Harvard, Dr. John Mackey?
Yeah, Mackey.
Have you, I mean, any of those? I think in his book, there's quite a few testimonials by his patients. I know the names have been changed and all, but has any of those people ever tried to reach out to you to share their testimonies, or are they still they're still afraid of a lot of ridicule, I would imagine, to kind of go public with their what they're saying?
It's tough to get anybody live on a UFO show for any reason. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So many of the people that I spoke with in Roswell, and so many things that I heard and stories that I heard that I would have just loved. I would have given anything to have a camera in these people's faces, but they just wouldn't go for it because they're concerned about, ridicule, losing their job.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Plus you got the fact some guy off the street walks up wearing a UFO shirt. Hey, can you share your stories with me? I mean, that's probably, a little bit much to take there as well.
Right.
But we would be very interested in speaking with some of these people, but it's not something that we've actually actively gone out and done.
Yeah.
Our focus is more on the physical side of things, the craft themselves, the incursions of the craft, that sort of thing. Again,
and I think one of your good, things is you guys do research. You can tell that you research. So, when I was talking about that Art Bell thing and you said, oh, that's a good idea. I do think, because he wrote a book about Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And then he died suspiciously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Art was an old guy. I don't know if they wanted to take Art. I can't believe if they wanted to nail Art Bell, why they didn't do it with his son, because his son got arrested for some sort of a sex offense, I think with a minor or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And it shut Art Bell down for a number of years. Actually, he stepped down from Coast to Coast AM. So if they wanted to whack Art Bell, that would have been the time to do it. I mean, that's the guy's under a lot of stress. He's an old guy. He had a heart attack. Nobody'd be the wiser. But the fact that they let him back on the airwaves, and he was back on the airwaves for a number of years after that. I don't know. I think he may have just.
Well, you know what? The thing was that I had looked, and when they did his autopsy, because they say he died of an accidental overdose, and when they did his autopsy, he was 72. So that's pretty old to be dying of an accidental overdose. You don't usually
Art
hear.
Bell died of an overdose?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought it was a heart attack.
Overdose. And
really?
Yep. And the thing is what killed me was the list of benzodiazepines that he had in his system. I mean, at 72 years old, he's taking that much, and then they post it as accidental overdose. Now, the thing with his son, he had the son actually had accused and won. They sued out of court the high school substitute teacher for molesting. Yep, for molesting him, and that it really got to Art Bell. He, of course, as it would, for any parent. I know I'm flipping through papers. I know you guys hate that shit, but because I have notes and I like to make sure my little outline, just because I don't like to give wrong and stuff. But unfortunately, and it was good notes. Let me check. It had the list. And it was just for you, kind of. So I made a little I don't even think I put the list. I said if people go and look. I wrote it down for me, but I didn't want to step on your toes because you said you were going to do a video about it. You know?
Yeah, the excuse me, forgive me. The video, the videos that I took down in Roswell, I did like a virtual tour of the museum. Also, they've got an attraction there called the Spacewalk. It was interesting because they have this huge library. I mean, this massive library of all the UFO sightings and books that people have written about it, the subject and all that. It's closed to the public right now because they're doing some remodeling. But they took me back there privately, let me photograph everything. It was I felt like a kid in a candy store. I really did.
I bet.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
That's how I would feel if I was somewhere where there was like a bunch of antiques or something.
It's like it was really almost awe-striking to be in the presence of the life's work of all of the great minds of ufology in one spot. I mean, that's the proof that we're looking for is all right there. If you read every word of it, I mean, you're going to be able to prove it. But it was really great. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I found out later that if all I had to do was call ahead and I could have got a private tour, they would have let me film the whole thing without people there because there were people everywhere. People just getting out.
You could pick up their voices and stuff talking. And stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And you don't realize what like how it is until it's on you're playing back your video and it's talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
I was really impressed that I have a super camera, but I just bought it and I'm too paranoid to take it out of the house. That's how expensive it is. So I bought a really nice camera and that was a lot less expensive. I took that with me and I'll tell you some of the photos that I got. In fact, 80% of the photos that I've got of the exhibits on the walls, you can actually read the text if you enlarge it like you're standing there.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
And that's good enough. You know what I mean? You can just take a picture of your picture, I guess. Screenshot your picture.
There's a UFO, a giant flying saucer in the middle of this place. And
now let me ask you a question. Tim earlier was talking about that one of them was live. The alien after the Roswell crash.
Yeah.
What do you think? I know that when they showed the autopsy, remember, but do you think that was real?
No, I think it was fake as hell. But one thing I will say is that I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and that's home of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That's where and here's what Wright-Patterson Air Force does, and they always have done. Their specialty is reverse engineering equipment. And normally we're talking about like Russian MiG fighter craft or, whatever we capture from other countries, that sort of thing. But the reason that they sent the debris from Roswell to Dayton, Ohio, it was called Wright Field back then, is because that's their specialty. So they wanted to take it and reverse engineer it and all that. The other thing is that it's rumored that they have this giant cryo lab underground.
What is that, Kitty Hawk you're talking about?
I'm sorry?
Kitty Hawk?
No, it's Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Fairborn, Ohio. It's a suburb of Dayton.
But didn't you say it was called Wright something Field?
It was called Wright Field back then.
Right, and that was the Wright brothers.
Well, it's named after them, but yeah, it's
right. So what I'm saying is, so it's changing. But now you're talking about cryogenics. Yeah, that's so freaking weird because that's like, what if somebody went through a portal and they ended up there, just like that movie Forever Young? You remember that one with Mel Gibson?
Well, I mean, we've seen UFOs all over the place, all over that area growing up. I mean, as a child, I remember even in kindergarten talking about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the crash. It ended up here in our backyard, and that supposedly the live alien was brought there, as well as all of the dead aliens. And the thing about it is there's rumored to be this huge cryogenic lab underneath there, and that's to this day where those bodies are kept. No one really knows what happened to the one that was still alive. But I mean, that was like something that you heard, I mean, constantly growing up there all the time,
Wow.
They probably did the same thing to like him that they did to the Indians. Let the alien, teach him everything he knew and then off them.
Who knows? Well, with our government and some of the things that are going on right now, I don't have a whole lot of faith. And I'll put this way, I put too many years working for the government in to have any faith in the government.
Now, I know that you are, and we're not going to say Democrat, probably we're not doing that. What I'm saying is, earlier you were talking about these reports that someone has released saying how the, these aliens, they have the ability to stop, these things from working. I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying though also is, I also read things that he had created his own space branch of the military,
Yeah, the
right?
Space Force.
Oh, good night, Prudently. I think it was great tonight. I love the chat. You're great.
Oh,
You're great. Yeah.
oh, thank you. And thank you very much, Tom. I found that great. Thank you for
My
taking my
pleasure.
questions. I'd like
Pleasure
to
to meet
ask
you.
you a bunch more.
Hey,
I'll
hop in on
visit
Saturday
you.
night and see us, and we'll happy to answer all the
Yeah,
questions that you have.
this
Good night,
Saturday night. This Saturday night.
Yep, every Saturday night at 9
Okay.
o'clock Eastern time.
Oh, great. I don't have any plans
Perfect
Saturday
time, right?
night.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Cool.
Yep.
All
We
right. I
appreciate
look
it.
forward to seeing you then Saturday.
Thanks so much.
Thank
night,
you. Good night,
Yeah.
everybody. Good night, Terry. Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Now I forgot what I was saying. No, sorry.
Actually,
I did actually.
you know something, I think I'm gonna go to. I've been on for like a couple of 2.5 hours now, because with that meeting, the UFO channel, what we call a band meeting. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and go too. But listen, I thank you for having me, Survivor Girl. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank you for being here. I
Hope to do it
appreciate
again
it so
sometime.
much. Yeah. Good. I'm so glad, because I do find these things are like going through a rabbit hole, and we could just talk for hours about, these things. And
Thank God. Maybe some of us are a little less skeptical and a little more objective now.
I'll tell you, just like Tommy, when he says seeing it was believing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
When you saw it, that is what made you say, even if you have a hard time believing your own eyes, you have to, because your own eyes saw it.
The way I like to put it on the channel is that this is such the UFO subject is such a giant lattice work of a puzzle that we all have a little tiny piece, and when we all get together and bring our little tiny pieces together, pretty soon we start getting a bigger picture of what's really going on. Because
and I think that's a good thing. It is. It's up to us people to relay our experiences. Even yes, there is some that are private, but or that people who won't say they got abducted. But I'll tell you what I saw, that, like I was telling you mine, and if I hadn't had a friend there, to this day, I know I'd teeter even more on the edge of if I saw what I know I saw.
If you'd like, one of these days, one of these nights, I'll come on and I've got a story that takes about 30 minutes, but it'll blow your mind. I'd be happy to share it with you if you like.
And I'd like to be able to put it in my little announce thing, because I think we would get, more, unless you don't want it to be announced.
No,
sometimes I like going to a live stream where nobody knows I am, so I can just be, not that I'm popular, I'm just saying nobody who's trolling or wants to harass can be there. So it's completely up to you if I can say with my guests, because I like to say with guests,
Sure, that'd be fine. I have no problem with that at all.
But you're very nice and interesting, so that's great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so till next time.
Till next time, and Terry, nice chatting with you, man.
Thank you. I'll check out your channel.
And folks, everyone on the chat there, it's a pleasure to be here with you, and you folks have a great evening.
And I will, on for the next couple of days, put the link for Saturdays, and remind people to, put it in the comments, not in the description, because not everybody checks descriptions. So I'll pin it in the comments so that we can all be ready for it for Saturday night, because I'm interested to hear what your topic's going to be.
Outstanding.
I know you've been holding back some real juicy stuff.
I have. Yeah. I'll talk to you folks soon.
All right. Good night. Seven tacos, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.
Survivor.
We're going to count down, Terry. You're going to count down with me?
Oh, I finally got you alone. That's what I.
I know. It's been a busy night. It's good, right?
Yeah, now we can mess around. We can fool around.
No, but it's good though, right?
That was a good night. People they're gonna watch this. Definitely announce your guest.
Yeah, but tonight I wasn't certain that I could do that. I wanted to ask. I want to address.
His followers will come here. Some of his subscribers.
And the thing is I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I think it's interesting stuff that people need to hear.
Absolutely. You know, before I heard him, what he had to say, what Tommy had to say, I probably just would brush. If somebody talk about UFOs, it's like, whatever. That's just, conspiracy.
Brush it aside, yeah.
Verbal.
And that's what I'm saying is exactly what he said.
Right.
Once you see something strange, then you know that was your own eyes. It's the same thing with a ghost for me.
Right.
Even like to see a ghost that's like glowing or hearing a ghost, I still say, but maybe it wasn't, right? Because it could maybe not be. But one time I was at my friend's house, right? And I could see into his kitchen, but he couldn't. He was on the other side of the room.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, and all the windows and doors are closed. And I look over at a chair at his. It was a small apartment, but it was cute, little 2-floor. And he had like a little table with a couple of chairs around it, up against this wall, and right near the sink. So the chair that was directly behind across the sink there, he had hanging a hand towel. You've probably heard this story before from me. There was a hand towel hanging, just like anybody would do. Like if there was no handle for them to hang the hand towel from, he was hanging it from the back of the chair. So I look, and this fucking towel, no lie, I swear to you, and I don't swear on my daughter, but I swear on my daughter and everything I love's life. Okay?
Okay.
This towel is only the side that you would lift up, like as a person, you'd lift up the side that's hanging and dry your hands. And it would never really leave the chair. It would just, kind of lift up and crunch up in a deliberate motion. That's what it did, Terry.
Really?
Terry?
Yeah.
In a deliberate fucking motion. So, something with invisible hands dried its hands on that hand towel at that moment. And I can feel inside me right now the emotion that I felt watching it. Because I couldn't get the words out of my mouth to say to, this guy, this thing's lifting up. So I'm going I'm pointing at it going, what? And at the same time, I'm looking just like, is there a fan on a window or anything? But it lifted and it was slow but fast. You know what I mean? It was the same way it would be.
Right.
But with invisible hands doing it.
When I was a young boy, I went to a farmhouse with some of my siblings and my mother to look at the house. My parents were looking for a house to rent. And then we were downstairs, and I looked upstairs, and I seen 2 women talking. And I told my mom, I said, there's a couple of women upstairs. And she said, no, there isn't. We went upstairs, and there wasn't anybody up there. I could have swore I seen 2 women talking. I don't know if
How old were you?
Oh, real young, maybe between 4 and 7.
Yeah.
I've been hallucinating, or maybe one of my uncles gave me acid.
And the thing is when you're that young and you see something, when you get older, you're certain you saw it, right?
Yeah, right.
But you were young, so I don't know. It's different. It affects you. You kind of walk away, like you're less scared, I guess.
Right.
Because you think it's 2 women. But if you were older, you would think it was 2 ghosts.
Right.
Right, because you'd look for characteristics that you'd have learned.
But
yeah.
But if I seen if that was happening now, I would assume I was having hallucinations, and I would go talk to a psychiatrist, or I do online. I'm reading a book now.
Why would you assume you were having hallucinations? Why wouldn't you believe your own eyes?
I'm a man of science and reason. I'm reading the book right now.
But you have to listen. Even Tommy himself said.
I know that. Well, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I would analyze.
Okay, so is that the only experience that you had, that it was when you were younger?
Maybe one other couple times when I was younger.
But never while you would call and get yourself locked up.
No.
Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, like maybe that's why you don't see anything like that, because you aren't going to see anything like that because you are already resigned to you're going to get yourself locked up for hallucination. And instead of knowing yourself better, you know yourself, that you know that you are a well-read person. Like, I think people like you, or people who read and want to know, they want to know, they want to learn, are comparable to when they talk about the men of letters.
Hmm.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
They were like these intelligent, group of people that would write the books and stuff, or that,
The scribes or whatever. Right.
Yeah, right. The men of letters. Because I believe I detect in you a love for the English language.
I had an aptitude for writing at one time.
Yeah, you did?
I did. I didn't pursue it, but I pursued hedonistic pleasures. I wish we could talk on the phone sometime.
Oh, this is like a phone call. Hey, Ace, how you doing? Ace is here.
Hey, Ace, how you doing?
Why did you think you developed that, though? Like what, an obsession with porn? Okay.
I don't know. Just growing
I
up.
don't think you did. You know what? I don't think that you did. I don't think you. It's not that, okay, I think you did develop a taste for it, but that was exactly what it is, a taste. I think you know yourself pretty well.
Of course.
Like, you said yourself, but I'm healing about the misogyny.
Right. Absolutely.
Now that is very, it's a very respectable and commendable statement.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's because I'm understanding nature more, and I have
And
a
understanding yourself more.
understanding myself, and having a daughter and nieces, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of variables.
Now, can I say something to you without you being offended? Because I'm not saying it directly to you.
Of course.
To you. I'm not saying it to you. It's not meant for you.
Okay.
But I know you're going to think it is, because bottom line is I didn't come to the theory of it, I guess. It's just a theory.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Okay.
But the only reason why I got it was listening to the playback of last night's live stream with you. And it made me think about something that I don't normally think about.
Okay.
And what it was this. That I was trying for a while lately, trying to think, so what is it that makes, or that's different in the kids in, your daughter's age, that age range where they start saying that they're, because your daughter speaks, she talks, right? But she's repetitive, like, she'll repeat things, like she's trying to get your attention, not in a bad way. Because listen, I want to say this,
Right.
that all this time I was trying to figure out what was different with the kids. After listening to that live stream last night, I saw for myself, maybe not everybody else will think this, but I saw what was different in the parents. And I'm going to tell you, it's the internet.
Okay.
It's the internet. The children are not getting what they were getting before the parents, where that was just coming into play with AOL and everything when my daughter was growing out of that age of being, now she was, and we'd already developed a home where there wasn't going to be cable. When they stopped playing cable in the classroom, that was it. there wasn't going to be internet. She could use the library. The teacher was still, when they sent home notes saying, we're changing our way of giving homework assignments.
Right.
From now on, we're going to start putting it on the computer instead of using the agenda, instead of sending home the agenda that the parent has to sign off on. And I checked off no. That wasn't okay that they did that for Rachel. I think it was around junior high school time. And then the principal called or whatever and said, why you're the only parent who won't, sign up after that, I said, because. I said, then you won't know if I saw it. There's nowhere for me to go. You're not asking, you're not even sending any instructions saying, and here's where the parent might, but here's the number one reason. I don't have the internet. I'm not getting the internet. And I'm not having them dictate to my life when in all actuality, I want to see the penmanship going. I want to make sure I can read that writing in that agenda that I sign off to. When she brings it back home the next day, there better be a red check mark next to it, indicating that that teacher checked to see if I was doing my job as a parent. So I'm certainly checking if they did their job as a teacher. And they weren't going to take that away from me. And so I said, so you ought to thank me. Because if I'm the only parent, then you will say, we will accommodate you, or I will be the only parent standing outside your school saying, I ain't doing it. They don't get to rob my kids of an education. And a teacher that gets to use, autocorrect and shit like that. Sorry, right. No going. Spell check. Sorry. I want to know that they're doing their job. And in turn, they can check my work, my job as a teacher. I mean, as a parent, teacher.
That makes sense.
Well, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but it worked. All I can say is it worked. So if I was to write a book, I could say it worked because she did graduate, triple major Dean's List graduate in 4 years from the University of Rhode Island. She was able to, while working, she worked 3 jobs.
Right.
She interned, and she was the resident advice, the RA or whatever it is. She had to keep office hours at, in her building. That was nice of the University of Rhode Island, right near Narragansett, the ocean and everything, She went to Italy. She studied in Italy for, she knew, and so that was what I was saying. To get back to the live stream last night, I think you need to do what I was saying. You need to find a series on TV. Okay?
Okay.
Not TV. One that was done before they were so sexual. So no Vampire Slayer, no Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I got you.
Yep, none of that. And you spend that season, that 13 hours, as a,
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to take your advice on that, seriously.
Yeah, and so that the next time she comes, she really wants to watch that next episode, right?
Right.
So now you've got leverage. Now all day, now in your head, you'd be okay if she went to bed at 11, right?
Right.
You know that. That's your, when you leaving yourself room to play. So you say, well, you got to go to bed by 10 now, if we do this today, if we go here today, right? Anything that you already want. And then you say, and if you're good, though, I'll let you stay up to 11 and we'll watch the next episode. But she's already going to be asking about the next episode.
Right.
And you're going to want to watch it, too.
She says, I want. And she'll,
right.
Yeah, we'll do that.
You're going to want to watch it, too. You get one that you can both develop an interest in.
Yeah.
Not too far ahead as adult. Don't go that route. Look back towards like even man, you could do so many. You guys could watch the stuff you watched when you were a kid, Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days. You just get the season. You buy the season.
Yeah, I tried
Mork and Mindy. Oh, Mork and Mindy would be great.
Which one?
Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy. Yeah.
Yes, buy the first season of Mork and Mindy and start from there. You will have some quality hours with your child.
Tracy.
And when she gets older, you'll know, you'll have so much in common, things to talk about.
Tracy?
Yep.
I got to go, honey. I'm getting tired.
Okay.
It was a great show tonight.
Thank you so much for coming, too. I'm so glad you can, because I sent you a note. I'm not sure if it showed up on your Secular Human.
Yeah, it did. It did, actually.
It did? Good. I'm glad. So glad. Thank you, Terry. Ace, I'm going to end this. So, Terry, will you count down with me? The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yeah?
Yes. Peace, love, and tacos. 5.
Yes. Peace, love, and tacos. And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Night, guys. See ya.
Peace, love, and tacos. Bye.
Bye.